Good evening, everyone. We are back. We are reunited, myself and everything in Middle-earth, to talk about, well, exactly that. Well, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 2, San Diego Comic-Con trailer, to be specific. I did an impromptu reaction to this last night, prompted by yourself, actually, because I don't keep track of when the trailers are going out, so I rely on you for my information. And you sent me a text, you were like, dude, there's a new trailer going up tomorrow, so just, prepare yourself. So I did, and yeah, so it was a bit impromptu last night. It was a really, really late one, talking till stupid o'clock about Rings of Power Season 2, and I know that you've got a video on the way on your own channel as well, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But I wanted to just kind of get your opinion on this. And I think a lot of people, we had a few people sort of messaging saying, oh, Chris, when you both go in live together to get your thoughts out there. Well, you don't have to wait any longer. We're live now. We're about to talk about it. But first and foremost, man, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We've had plenty of Rings of Power content recently. A lot of news about it's been coming out, and yeah, been good to be fair. Keeping busy, starting up the channel again. So I've been good, apart from last night, watching the trailer. But really enjoyed your live stream.
Thank
It
you.
was really good, even though you forgot the audio on one part.
Forgot the audio, not even on one part, on the main reaction, the thing that people might just click on to watch. There was no audio. So yeah, I think I've figured that out now. I'm an old man with technology. Um,
But
Speaking of old men,
uh,
repping Waldreg once again from season 1. Never
yeah,
forget the man Waldreg. He is the founder of Mordor. Never forget that.
never forget that he subsequently caused the events of the Lord of the Rings. But I
every,
would,
yeah, every time I watch the original trilogy and you see Mount Doom erupt, I'm just like, that's my boy Waldreg. He got it done.
he's our man, and he wasn't in the trailer again. He's
Oh,
the one thing I've been looking out for. With no promotional shots of him in it, I don't know if they just straight up killed him,
oh
but I
don't,
hope not, or
don't.
else we're rioting. Chat, put an F for Waldrick. If he dies, we're abandoning the show. That's where I draw the line if he
Uh-huh.
goes.
Yeah,
But
I'm with you there. I mean, you kind of mentioned this before we went live, and I think we've mentioned it before too. Just how difficult it is to recall characters' names from season 1, other than the main, Galadriel, Elrond, things like that. But just sort of the other tertiary characters, But I remember Waldreg. My God, I
yeah.
remember Waldreg. I probably remember Waldreg more than Galadriel now at this point.
Just think he's had more of an impact in season 1 than Galadriel.
Literally has. Yeah, no, actually has in terms of story. Absolutely. He sets everything in motion.
He's had more of an impact than Sauron. Just think about that. Just think
Well,
about this, right? Without Waldrig, Sauron doesn't create the One Ring. Just think
oh,
about that.
fuck. No, you're Jesus. I never even thought of that.
Just think about that. That is how important this man is.
God.
Just look at him, right? You wouldn't think this old butcher over here would subsequently cause and create the One Ring.
Just a lowly butcher in like, random Oddmark village in rural Middle-earth.
The man,
Have
the
you
myth, the
heard of
legend.
Sauron, me lad? Like,
Oh god, yeah, he had the sword, didn't he?
yeah, the sword, which was like a Morgul. It was kind of like Morgul, right? Because it completely dematerialized and reappeared and stuff. But it wasn't really a sword. It was a key. And then
Yeah,
this key, it was like, was it on like a piece of parchment or something? It was a key that went into a tower, I
yeah,
think. Or was it? No, they find the sword at a tower, I
yeah.
think. And then he puts it into like a random keyhole in the ground somewhere, which activates a whole series of interconnected waterways which lead into a tunnel which has been dug by orcs, I think,
Yes.
which then activates with the liquid hot magma of Mount Doom. And the Southlands, we say goodbye to the Southlands and we get Mordor. Christ almighty.
That still
See,
angers me.
I was thinking too small. I was just thinking about the ramifications of him making a volcano and Mordor, and you were like, "Nah, the One Ring, mate. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
you one better than Mount Doom, the One Ring."
it's worse. It goes on and on. He's caused all this, and I'll never forgive the show. He's so important, and they don't realize it.
Where did we leave him in series one? Was he hanging out with Adar or
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I think the last shot we saw of him was with Adar, and it was when the title changed. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure that was it.
Oh, God, I hope he's still around. We can only hope. That's the
We
only
can
thing
only
that's
hope.
keeping me going for season two is the promise of more Waldreg. The promise of potentially, was it 10 episodes, 8 episodes in season two? More
Ooh,
episodes of Waldreg. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'll have a look. I'm pretty sure that it's 8. I'll have a look now.
Is the actor on is he on X? I still feel weird calling it X. Can I just still call it Twitter? You know what I'm talking about. We just like drop him a tweet and just say like, hey, just hook a brother up. Are you in season two? Please tell us. We must know.
You know what? That is not a bad idea. If so, I'm not on X, but I'm on Twitter. I might try and contact him if he's got Twitter. Let's get him on.
I was going to say, can we get an interview with him? Can we get him on the channel? Probably thinks we're taking the piss. And genuinely, we're not. Like, I
Right.
actually fucking love Waldreg.
What we need to do if this happens, hide all of our content where we're shitting on the
Oh,
show.
God, yeah. Yeah. I'll
And
delete all
then
the videos.
have
Private.
him on,
Yeah.
milk him, and then put it
And
not in
also
that way
potentially have him on the show.
while she sip that creamy Guinness.
Get my practice in, yeah.
Right, it is 8 episodes.
Oh,
8 episodes,
oh.
which there's going to be I think, like a 2-episode battle scene as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They're dropping 3 episodes in one go, aren't they? Did we say?
I'm not sure. They did that last time, so I'm pretty sure they'll probably do it again. Which I don't get why, because that show doesn't have any hype.
No.
If they're going to drop 3, you might as well drop all of them.
Yeah, just binge it like the whole Netflix treatment.
Yeah, 100%.
DFGG says everything in Middle Earth do be talking facts. To be honest, yeah, he does. That's why he's on. This is why he's on the show. I need him to spit facts.
I just love him. I genuinely love him, and I will try and get in contact with him, please.
Oh,
And
so
guys,
good.
if you find him out who he is, please spam and say, "Oh, there's this live stream that's really worships you, that loves your character. Please, can you go on and check it out? Please chat."
I genuinely wonder, like any other Middle Earth Lord of the Rings fans out there, that somewhere else in the world right now will be having the same conversation that we're having, and somewhere in the world is just hyping up Waldreg randomly. We're probably the only 2 people that do it as regularly as we do. Every time we have a conversation, I don't think we can't go a minute without talking about Waldreg at some point.
No, and rightly so, because he's so important. But I was speaking about the trailer.
Yeah.
When I watched it, this trailer got me more angry than the last one, because it felt like, let's chuck everything in. Let's not keep any secrets for the show. Let's not keep Tom Bombadil, which is bizarre why he's there, and we'll go on to him later. But let's not keep him a secret. The Barrow-wights, let's not keep them. The Entwives, let's not keep them. The Spider, which
Balrog Spider. Let's throw everything in there. Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's just chuck everything in. And I think it was seriously a last-ditch desperation to try and get fans on board. And to be fair, what I've seen in the comments, it's worked a little bit. People are seeing the visuals of a battle and thinking that's everything. That action is what makes the show. But looking at the trailer, there's going to be numerous lore breaks again. There's no point putting lore and the Rings of Power in the same sentence. There's no point, because the complete disrespect of it, and that's the word. It's disrespectful, and that's what got me quite angry during this trailer. Is the amount of law that they ignore, the law that they abuse, law that they've just completely ruined, to be honest.
Or invented from whole cloth. Remember in season 1 where we now have an origin story for Mithril?
Yeah.
When an elf and a Balrog engage in combat and somehow it infected a tree? Or the roots of a tree or something, wasn't it? Which went into the mountain and formed Mithril?
Yeah. And it has like special healing powers. Some reason.
It's tied to the life of the elves, isn't it, or something? Is that what was happening in season 1?
I'm pretty sure. Was it like a lightning bolt that's like kind of shot it into the ground? I don't know. It's some.
Yeah.
Honestly, you would expect this because the writers only have 2 credits, so you kind of expect that from them. But the amount of people that I see like going ecstatic because we're seeing a Balrog coming out of a fire, or we're seeing Halbrand wandering around in a blonde wig. I don't get it, and it got me really angry. And there's so many questions, and we'll go on to it later.
Yeah,
but I wanted to give you a little nugget of information.
Oh, yeah, so you alluded to this before we went live.
Yeah.
So this is some juicy gossip you've got. It's either a leak or a rumor, I think, isn't it? Is it a rumor of what's to come in season 2?
Yes.
So they haven't revealed everything in the trailer. I'm guessing you're going to land a doozy on me now. What have we got?
Yeah. So this is a rumor, but it's a strong rumor. You know Isildur, where he's fighting off the spider?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be Shelob.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's
Why?
going to be Shelob.
Why?
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely. They're throwing everything into this season. Every little thing we can remember, like
everything.
Shelob's not important. This part of the story. What?
Yeah, and that was confirmed. I've just got it up now at the San Diego Comic-Con in Hall H. So Isildur will face Shelob in the Rings of Power Season 2. Bearing in mind, at this point in the lore, Shelob's just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, she's at all the kids. She's just chilling near the pass. And yeah, that's Shelob. So we will be seeing Shelob, you guys, and I'm sure you're all thrilled to find that out.
Woo.
There's a bit of nugget for you there.
How do you think they're going to name drop it, though? Because is she going to talk? Is she going to go like, I am Shelob or something? Or is he going to like awkwardly name drop it? Oh, they're going to do some kind of, because Shelob means like she spider, right? Is it going to be like, what happened to you, Isildur? I don't know. I fought some kind of she spider, and you're like, oh, I don't know. But how are they going to get it across to us, the audience, of that Shelob? Maybe like merch, or maybe description like that.
That's a very good point, because they can't rip off the design, surely, of the Peter Jackson one.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't know whether they've just leaked it now so that we know that he's fighting her off.
Yeah.
Or potentially they could be looking at the Shadow of War game. I think it's Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor. It's one of them where Shelob talks.
Yeah, she's a shapeshifter, isn't she? And she's like a really hot chick, apparently.
Yeah. And it's like, why? Like, this is not established anywhere.
Yeah.
Where's this come from?
Yeah, it's just, she's just like unnaturally hot. There's like, every time I watch Return of the King now, I get a really awkward boner when it gets to the Shelob scene. No, it's an absolutely ridiculous choice. I mean, I've never played the game, and it might be like a fun game as like a... Did you ever play The Third Age on PS2 back in the day?
No, I didn't. No.
So it's kind of like a side story that runs parallel to the main quest, and you've got essentially sort of like your redo of the Fellowship. You've got an Aragorn-like character, you've got a dwarf, you've got an elf. So you've got your main trio, like the three hunters, and then you pick up like sort of like a Faramir kind of character, and then an Éomer character, and it's like a turn-based RPG kind of game, but you're chasing after the Fellowship essentially. So I always kind of view that as like a little what if. It's like a little non-canon, but if you played it and appreciate it, you could kind of go, oh, those characters are at this point of the map now whilst the Fellowship are in Moria. I'd probably just go with that for Shadow of Mordor. I'd be like, it completely betrays the lore. This isn't canon, but the game might be fun as like a little whatever kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, 100%. But unfortunately for the Rings of Power, they do that and it's not fun. It's shocking.
Now you've said that, I genuinely think it. I think you're probably right. I think those rumors are probably right, because it's like, why settle for just a spider when you can crowbar another member berry, like another thing that we remember from the trilogy of films, especially based on the trailer. And I mentioned this last night during my reaction, just how many lines and little bits of iconography they're just cliffing straight from those original films. It's almost like an act of desperation, really. It's like the show can't stand on its own two legs, so we need to just try desperately to throw stuff in that people recognize. But fans of those Peter Jackson films surely don't like that. I mean, I'm sure there are some fans, you know, some people that like those films and just like Lord of the Rings in general, and any kind of scrap of Middle Earth they can get, you know, sink their teeth into, they'll like it. So I'm sure there are some fans of the show out there. God help us all. But surely if some people are like diehard fans of that film, surely they watch this and go like, come on, like, why are you doing this? Don't even try. How dare you even try and get in the same club as those original films?
Well, I saw that they nicked another line from the Peter Jackson's films.
From this new trailer that came out.
Yeah, from The Hobbit.
Leave Sauron to me.
Yeah. As soon as I heard it, I thought straight away of Saruman, and I was thinking, again, just nicking lines, not even from the good films.
No, this is how low we've sank now.
Yeah, Battle of the Five Armies content.
Yeah.
I
mean, to be fair though, that line is Christopher Lee's last spoken line in the Middle Earth films. So say what you want about those films, and we can say a lot about the Hobbit films. They're not good, and the Dol Guldur stuff isn't good either. But seeing Christopher Lee back was great. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll die on that hill. And when he says like "Leave Sauron to me" in his epic Christopher Lee voice, I get a kick out of that. It's like, do you get it? Foreshadowing. You know what's going to happen. Like, I get it, but to do that to Christopher Lee's legacy of that character from that film,
it's wrong. And we are getting more of Adar this season, and we're getting flashbacks to how he became Adar. So potentially we've got to see his dispute with Sauron. Even though, do you care? Like, genuinely, do you care how they've argued together? How this?
Didn't he say in season 1 that I killed Sauron? Does he say that? I seem to remember a bit where he alludes to the fact that he's fought him before.
Yeah, I think he did. Was he captured by Galadriel once at that point?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things that they've just dropped. It's like, yeah, and it looks like he's going to be causing the siege of Eregion.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
that? I mean, to try and hope that this show will stay true to the lore, like we're so far past that now. We're into like really bad fan fiction territory. So, I mean, if we're just looking at the characters objectively from season 1, Adar was probably one of my favorites, and I don't know if that's really a credit of the writing or the actual character themselves, and probably more so the actor. He got out while the getting was good. So fair play to him. He saw where the ship was headed and got off there while he could. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what they do with his character, I suppose. But I don't like this whole sort of grey orc territory. You know, like a grey Jedi. It's like, oh, I learn both the light and the dark side. Like, I never like that. I think when you get like a classic fantasy thing, I do like when it's quite, you know, cut clear, good and evil. And now we've got this orc, partial human, partial elf, partial orc character, whatever he is. and he's leading a resistance of orcs to find a home or something. He wants them to have their place. You know, he wants them to have equal pay rights and job opportunities in Middle Earth, I guess, or something. I mean, I don't like it. It's not from the lore. It's not from the books. It's not something Tolkien would ever write, but it's probably one of the only scraps of vaguely interesting things from season 1. So if they're going to change it to have him lead the siege, then sure, go nuts. Honestly, I would be fine with them doing anything at this point. I think like the anger and aggression that I had during season 1 has just I've just reached like ambivalence now with this. I've reached exactly the same place as Disney Star Wars, where I don't get angry at this shit anymore. I'm just like, oh yeah, of course you're going to throw Darth Plagueis as this creepy old guy in a cave. Sure, yeah, we're going to do that. Of course we're going to have Anakin not be the chosen one now. We're going to have this happen before. You just let it wash over you, and you just laugh at the results. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. The amount of apathy for the show is unreal, and the amount of investment. I'm going to be really interested to see the numbers for the show.
Yeah,
when it comes out, I really am.
If they don't fabricate them, I don't know if Amazon fabricate the numbers. I know Disney do that a lot, but I'm not sure if Amazon can do that or if they actually have to release the viewing figures.
Oh, I'm not sure because I saw from season 1, from episode 1 to the last one, there's I think only 39% of the audience finished the show. So I don't know how they got those numbers.
I don't think you can ever really trust the numbers, can you? It's
No.
like who's purporting these. So,
well, it counts preview as views. So if you just scroll across it,
yeah,
which that's how it got a lot of its opening numbers. Because I think it did quite well on its first couple of episodes, because of that. But speaking on Adar, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think they are trying to go along this line of he's looking after his own. He's just trying to be there for them and trying to paint the orcs as being the outcasts for the show. But then you see the orcs enslaving elves and killing elves, and Adar doing really awful things. So the show wants you to think that he's a morally great character, but then they're showing us evidence otherwise that no, he's not. He's not at all. And I do agree. He was one of the okay characters. He was one that I could tolerate through season 1.
Yeah.
But there's few of them. But he's
there is. I'd
not
probably say him and maybe some of the dwarves, like Durin. Was it Durin the Fourth, like Prince Durin or whatever his name is?
Yes, the dad.
Yeah, him and the dad. I kind of the same boat with you though. I think I did say, a vaguely interesting character. I'd probably just drop that to okay character, like tolerable character, because that's the level we're at. Like, I'm not massively invested in any of these characters at all. But if you were gonna do it on like some kind of scale of degree, then yeah, like Adar's probably up there. As when he comes on screen, I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to be gouging my eyes out during this scene. Maybe I can get through this scene. And then Galadriel shows up, and I'm like, oh fucking hell, why am I watching this show? Just turn it off.
No, she's the hero.
She is.
She's the badass who somehow has forgotten all of these fighting skills and being the leader of the Northern armies for the Lord of the Rings. Somehow, and the Hobbit. She does fuck all. She does nothing. But I think with Adar as well, you got it right. The actor, for me, I really liked the actor who's in Game of Thrones, only for a short bit, but I thought he did a really good job as portraying him and carried the character pretty much. And now that he's gone and they've cast someone else, I don't know. I don't really know who they've cast.
Same. I've never seen this new actor. I genuinely believe that a good actor can elevate bad material.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't recognize him from anything, so I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think there's any good actors, to be honest.
We've got Rory Kinnear as Tom Bombadil. He's a pretty good British actor.
Yeah,
but
I feel like in the show during, he's been all right, and I'd say he's acted pretty well. I'm not like doing it to troll. I can't think of any performances where I've gone, wow.
No.
And it's a stacked cast. Like, it's not as if they're short on actors and actresses, but that's the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Rings of Power.
Yeah, oh boy. We're going to be doing a deep dive into this thing now, so we'll probably go through the trailer bit by bit, but that's kind of where we're at, folks, and I'm assuming a lot of people are in the same situation. The complete feeling of indifference towards this show. And don't get me wrong, like I'm looking forward to us reviewing it. I've always said that it's a great laugh, and you kind of get to the point where I was like this with season 1, where you were waiting each week to watch the next episode because you were thinking, like, right, how are they going to fuck it up this time? Like, what outlandish shit are they going to do in the next episode? And that was kind of fun after a while. Once I was over the physical pain of them destroying Tolkien's legacy, like at the beginning of every opening credits when it said based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, I'm like, oh, don't you even dare. Don't you even put his name in the credits. It's that moment in Harry Potter where he's like, how dare you stand where he stood. Once I was over that, I was kind of loving to hate it in a weird way, because after so many episodes in, there's no redemption for this show. You know exactly what kind of show you're getting. And I feel like we're going into season 2 a lot clearer now. We know exactly what we're going to get before we get it, I feel. And we're seeing that in the trailers. Like, the trailers are meant to be showing the best bits, and everyone's tearing them apart and laughing at them. Sauron in a wig, just the writing of the characters, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And if we're getting that from the trailer, God help us when we actually get to the episodes. So we'll see what we get. I'm just going to open a couple more comments, and then I think we'll dive into the reaction. We'll sort of go bit by bit and see where the conversation takes us. DFGG says, thank you for reading my comment. You're very welcome. I'm reading this one out too, so you get 2 comments read out. You're both doing absolutely amazing. You both definitely know what you're talking about. I mean, occasionally I'll read a couple of Tolkien Wikipedia pages. Wikipedia? That's the Star Wars. See, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Tolkien Gateway pages or something, and try and recall some vague ideas. But I ain't no Men of the West who just is like a human encyclopedia on this shit. But I can get through a Tolkien conversation. I can just about scrape through, I think. So we're all good. And DFGG says Shelob be like, I am Groot. Oh no.
Oh, well, I wonder if they have like a little name card pop up that just says Shelob. It's like, oh, okay, now we know.
That was the worst time to drink. God damn it. Fuck you. Oh, and you know how they had the Southlands, and then when it changed to Mordor, it had like the evil Mordor font. We need some kind of Shelob font. Is it going to have like spider webs all like around the edges of the letters?
Yes, and we see a little spider drop down on a little thread of web. Oh my god!
No, it's gonna happen. They're gonna do it.
Shelob's back.
Oh no!
Oh, there is a photo actually. But I'll find that for you beforehand. So I'll get that for when we're talking about that. So I'll just find that now.
Cool. Right, I'm going to bring the trailer up now. You guys at home should have audio, although we're probably just going to be pausing this for some kind of visual reference. So, through the power of technology, I share the screen, and then I'm going to full screen it, and then go back to the street. There we go. So we should hopefully all be seeing that at home. We're just going to go through this bit by bit, kind of like what I did last night, and just let me know when you want to pause and when we've got stuff to talk about. And with a 3-minute 39 trailer, I expect we're going to have a lot to talk about. So
yes.
Sauron sees himself as master of all Middle-earth.
Right.
He seeks to rule it not only through conquest, but by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that he needs not armies,
no,
but rings.
Okay, that's probably a good place to pause it there then. So what do we think to all that? Opening monologue of Galadriel talking about Sauron's place in the world, his ultimate goal, and what he needs to achieve it. What do we think of that?
I wish she told Elrond sooner before making the rings. A confession would be nice, and it baffles me that she didn't tell them straight away.
Galadriel's not going to be accountable in this series. What are you thinking?
Oh God, no! It'll be Sauron's manipulation.
Yeah.
She basically came up with his storyline and basically said he was the the king of the Southlands. She said it. He didn't say anything. One of his lines was saying, don't trust me, like what I'm saying. Like I may not be who I am. Then she just went along with it. She won't face any accountability. She should be scorned for this. She should be kicked out. But that won't be the case. And I've got my theory for why that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you remember when they had their shout off at the end of season 1?
Yes.
Where the camera was like this close in their face, they were just like shouting at each other obnoxiously. Oh, they did that name drop. He was like, "Be my bride," or so. Like Sauron was hitting on Galadriel. Like, well, she's an elf and he's a Maiar. Like, that's just.
Yeah.
I know that worked with Melian and Olwe. I think it was, wasn't it, in the Silmarillion? Olwe's walking through the woods. And he sees Melian, who was a Maiar, and he's entranced by her, kind of like a Beren and Luthien kind of situation. And he falls into a trance with her and then ends up becoming King Thingol and marries her and everything like that. So it can happen, I guess, a Maiar can fall in love with a lesser being of an elf. But Sauron fucking hates them, doesn't he? He hates everything. Yeah. Like, he wants order. He wants to rule over everything. He sees everything as just sort of like ants to him, basically. And he was trying to hit on Galadriel. He was like, I will raise you up a queen, not dark, but beautiful and terrible as the dawn. And they quoted that whole thing, didn't they?
Well, he's meant to be the Walter White, isn't he, of this show?
Yeah, they did. God, they did say that.
Yeah, a drug dealer. How the hell? A drug dealer with cancer. How's that linking with Sauron? Like, genuinely. What? Like... it gets me really angry, to be honest.
That ending was so bad. Like when they were just shouting at each other's faces, and he had like the Sauron eyes, like the Sauron eye contact lenses, and he's just shouting at her, and she's shouting back at him. It was ridiculous.
Well, they tried to make out as if he was turning good, like in Numenor. You got the foreshadowing that he was doing the smithing, and that Galadriel was slowly turning him into a good character, and then he's suddenly flipped because she confronted him. And then you got that cool shot on the raft where you see the reflection in the water, and it's Sauron and bad Galadriel. But from the very opening shot, I just love how Halbrand's gone all the way to Mordor. Then he's gone all the way back to, I'm guessing that's Eregion. It's going to be rather Eregion or Numenor, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Eregion. So he's wandered all the way to Mordor and then gone back. Why? And then later he'll shapeshift by putting a blonde wig on.
Yeah. Having a bit of a facelift, washing his face a little bit, getting some moisturizer on his face. Yeah.
Look, in Celebrimbor, don't get me started on that, on him. The Walking Dead, he's gormless, but he's one of the worst performers. He looks docile.
What were they thinking casting him as Celebrimbor, though?
The master? Oh, what is it now? He
didn't know what an alloy was in the last
scene. Exactly. He didn't know how to work metals. Yet he's famous for it. Come on.
Yeah, like Sauron, Halbrand had to tell him that, like, you can mix metals together to make something else. He was like, "Doy, really?" What? I'm like, was that the wise teachings of Aule? Did he impart that knowledge to Sauron back in the days when he was in Valinor, and now Sauron's like, Celebrimbor, I gift this valuable information to you?
well, hopefully at the end of this season we won't be seeing any more of Celebrimbor. But I just, I don't know how they're going to tie it up with him returning back there. It doesn't look like he's been restrained, but later on in the trailer you see him imprisoned. So it looks like he's just going to hand himself in. Why? Why not shapeshift?
Whenever a villain wants to willingly hand themselves in, that's usually a bad sign. It's usually like they've got a plan or something. So,
ooh, a plan of deception. Ooh. But the thing is, though, why doesn't he shapeshift before going back? Why is he going back as Halbrand again?
These are all very good
What's
questions.
the benefit? If he wants to deceive people, the easiest way to do is shapeshift. Become a different character. Yeah, he's going to have suspicion. You'd think so. After Galadriel tells everyone that Sauron's been here, and he's changed form. Although Celebrimbor doesn't seem to get the memo for that.
He seems to be able to shapeshift but not change his face. So I'm just thinking, the end of T2 when the T1000 goes into the lava and he's kind of changing into everyone that he's changed into previously. I'm just expecting that Sauron's got this ability to just hit shuffle and just change his appearance to all the things that he's changed into beforehand, but his face stays the same. So the Silmarillion, when he changes into like a vampire, bat, and a werewolf, like you have this werewolf body, but it's still just Halbrand's face that just remains the same. He just hits shuffle and turns into a vampire, this scary fucking demon creature in front of Celebrimbor. He's like, oh shit, sorry, no, fair form, fuck.
Right,
there, Waldreg.
Please edit Sauron chasing Beren and Luthien and put Halbrand's face.
No, I want to take the prologue from Fellowship and just have Halbrand's face on the front of the helmet. That's just his face. The rest of his body's pure metal in armor, but it's just Halbrand's skin face on the front. It's terrifying.
We see later on that Galadriel and Elrond are away from Eregion. And I feel like he just wanders in. Obviously, he's looking like Halbrand. And do you reckon if Galadriel was there, she would have spotted him and, she would have said, hold on, that looks a bit dodgy. I don't get how Celebrimbor's not clocked onto it, to be honest with you.
It's the thing that just boils my piss is what you said, that she just hasn't mentioned this to anyone. And if the voiceover of this trailer is to be believed, it sounds like finally she is telling people. She's saying like, he is Sauron. Yeah. I'm like, but how many... Is this taking place directly after the events of season 1? Or is there going to be like a bit of a time jump between the two? I'm guessing it's probably going to take place directly after, but even still... You think that would have been the first thing that she would have said. She would have raced back to Celebrimbor and raced back to Elrond and be like, right, this is the situation. And she didn't. So everything's on her as far as I'm concerned. She's the causation of all of this death and destruction that's probably going to happen to Eregion. Yeah.
And like you said, she had time to do the rings and have a discussion with him about free. Free is the perfect balance. But I think during this scene, we're going to be having a council scene where I don't know if Elrond's told Gil-galad that Luke, like, there's something suspicious happening here, and she goes and confesses about the rings, and we see loads of shots of the rings, and the show writers have mentioned that they're going to really play on the fact of the rings, kind of their communication with Galadriel through the show, so we're going to get more of those shots, and we've seen her staring at the ring. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a monologue or an internal monologue going on throughout that, and we're meant to really get the grasp of the power of the rings. But I reckon what will turn Gil-galad from scorning Galadriel and get her off from that is the fact that if we scroll a little bit further into the trailer, we see the council meeting.
Yeah,
I think it's after this.
After this, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think it's after this.
So many slow-mo shots.
All its peoples to his own.
It's a wide shot. There we
That
go.
one, yeah. So
Yeah.
can you see how withered the tree is?
Yeah.
It's looking quite rotted, and that looks like the similar sort of setting, in like color temperature of the sky and that for that scene. So I reckon she's getting confronted there about the rings, and she'll demonstrate that. I don't know if she'll throw the ring down or she'll go near to the tree or something, and you'll see that the mithril of the rings heals the tree, is healing the tree. And then they'll be like, "Ooh," because there's a shot later on in the trailer where the tree's all fine.
That's a really good prediction. I think you're 100% there.
And I think that's what's going to hook Gilgalad into taking his ring.
Yeah.
Even though these should not even be touching the rings after finding out Sauron's had a...
No, I know.
But...
No, I know the thing, and I was actually having a conversation with someone in the comments, because I mentioned last time I couldn't remember the exact power level of the Elven rings. Like, I knew that Sauron presided over the creation of the 9 for mortal men and the 7 for the dwarves, but I know that he didn't have a hand in making the 3 for the elves. And I thought that was why the elves were kind of immune to being corrupted by Sauron, because Sauron can have a direct influence on the others, but because the elves kind of made these rings in secret without his aid, then that's how they can sort of slip unnoticed and still use their rings without being corrupted. And it's kind of true. However, when Sauron is in possession of the One Ring, he can see all of the rings of power, even the 3 elven ones. So they were hidden and they weren't used. And then Sauron was defeated, and then obviously that's when you have them still using the rings somewhat, like with Galadriel and Nenya and Gandalf with the fire ring and everything. So, but no, I think that's a really good prediction. Yeah, I can see you mentioned that, and I can see that unfolding exactly the same way that you just said it. So I think you're 100% there. We've got a few comments. I'm just going to go through these, and then we'll scrub through the trailer a little bit more. DFGG says, Lord of the Rings just need to hire you both to fix this whole thing. Oh, God. Okay, if you got the task, they hired you tomorrow and said, right, everything in Middle-earth, we want you on board. Turn this ship around. What would be the first thing that you do with the show?
I'll delete what's come before and start afresh. 100%. I don't think this show's recoverable.
Yeah.
I think it's too damaged. It was damaged within 3 episodes.
If that
Yeah,
for me.
that.
Yeah.
I genuinely cannot see a way where I like this show. Genuinely can't. So I think you have to just scrap it and start again straight away.
That's what I did with season 1. Sort of very, very quickly, I kind of divorced and cut off all of my feelings towards it being an adaptation of Tolkien and the works of the Lord of the Rings and everything and Middle-earth, and was like, right, I'm just going to review this based on it being a fantasy show, an odd-mark fantasy show. Like, it's not Lord of the Rings to me. It's not the Rings of Power. It's not anything to do with Tolkien. It's Tolkien characters in name only. I'm just going to view this objectively as a fantasy show. And even from just a show on its own merits, it's terrible. The writing, the characters, the look of it. It's so uninspired and just genuinely bad. Galadriel taking a pyroclastic flow to the face. Like, need I say more? I can just mic drop it after that. So it's bad in all regards as far as I'm concerned. It's abysmal as a Lord of the Rings adaptation, and it's just really boring as a fantasy adaptation too. Bath Time says, "Oh my God, it's this fraud that still hasn't made the Waldreg super edit."
Sorry, Bath Time. I genuinely created the edit and I got most of it done, and then my computer crashed and deleted it. So I need to start it afresh. There is one clip from the edit on my Instagram. I've got one clip, and that's from, if you've ever seen Full Metal Jacket. I've done the sergeant scene. I've cropped his head on the sergeant and Waldreg, and then Theo's the one who's, I think it's Private Pile.
Yeah.
He steals a donut. So I've just cropped the sword onto the donut and just had them arguing. And yeah, I did that, and it's on Instagram. But I will try and work on that.
Well, this is what I hope if he is in season 2, which fingers crossed, we hope that Waldreg does return for season 2. There might be some fresh material, so it might it might inspire you again to take on that project with even more new footage that you can use.
Oh, can you imagine him leading the charge in Eregion? Imagine if he causes the fall of Eregion.
My boy, yes.
He gets creating Mordor and causes the fall of Eregion. Well, he's going to be part of it, so he might genuinely be one of the most important characters.
He's the key to all this, yeah.
He's the key.
It's like Jar Jar Binks in the prequels. He's the key to all this.
Oh, man.
Love it. Bath Time says, do you think Celebrimbor is going to throw him in the furnace and he's going to walk out as Anatar? I saw that theory on Twitter today, and to be honest, it's probably what they're going to do. You just throw him into a little like baking oven and you get like a different shape-shifted version of Sauron out?
Well,
I mean, that would still raise questions, I think. Like, you just threw someone into a fiery furnace and they emerge completely unscathed and changed physically.
Well, they need that transition. They need that transition from Halbrand into Anatar. And the problem is that we've seen him in the trailer go back to Eregion as Halbrand. So somehow they're going to have that transition happen. We've seen shots of him, of Anatar walking out of the fire.
He's just mentioned it. Yeah, Bath Time says, look in the trailer, Anatar comes out of the furnace. Yeah.
But I don't think that's how they're going to... Although they do say a line, don't they say, how do I name you? Like, what do I call you?
I think Celebrimbor is going to be working alongside Sauron, and he's going to be like, look, if you're going to be working with me, you need to change how you look. And he's going to change himself into Anatar, and he's going to be like, right, both of us can work together. No one's going to ask questions because everyone's going to think like you're my long-lost, distant elven cousin from the other kingdom. And we can work together and we can make these rings. Whether Celebrimbor does it willingly or whether he's threatened by Sauron. But I think it's going to be... That's the reason for the appearance change, is that Celebrimbor can work alongside him as kind of like a lackey to Sauron.
Yeah, and I think they really messed up on that on season 1. That they could have really had that surprise factor with Celebrimbor. You know, it could have been, they've been working along with Sauron. And then it's like, oh no, Sauron's, been among us and we've created all of this. But no, they've had it where they've already found out. So why would then Celebrimbor willingly work with a random smith again? Like, he's making the same mistake twice. And I'm just curious of how they're going to justify it. Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. Because the thing is, when we're talking about this, we're trying to bring logic into it, and the writers of this show exist in a world where logic isn't a thing. So think of the most outlandish thing that they could possibly do, and chances are they're probably going to do it. So yeah, I didn't even think about that whole thing about chucking him in the fire and he comes out a new man. So
yeah, because you see a fit of rage, Celebrimbor. I don't know if he makes a pushing motion within the trailer, but you see him getting angrier, and you see a very angry Celebrimbor. So who knows? He might lash out.
Is it just getting? You say like he pushes him. You ever seen Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
You know when Dr. Woodrow goes like, "I'm afraid you'll have to die," and he pushes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she rejuvenates his poison. Like, that's what's going to happen. He's going to push Halbrand. Oh. He's going to be like, "There we go."
And I think we've seen it in the trailer already. They're really going to milk the idea of him walking out of fire and he's right slap bang in the middle of it, so he looks like an eye.
Yeah.
You just know that's going to happen.
Just going back to this, I never even thought of this, but you're absolutely right. Tartalinian says, and back to the bubblegum machine rings.
100%. I think that one doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look great.
Where's the one?
But it's the other one
down the stairs.
Yeah.
They do look like knuckle dusters, don't they? They do. Hang on, there's a shot. Hang on, here we go. Or that one there.
They look rubbish. To be honest with you, look at it. It generally looks like. Do you know those? Like those bubblegum machines.
It does.
Whack it out, get a little ring with a cheap plastic stone.
20p, turn the little cranky crank thing, and
The thing is, they've CGI'd these rings,
yeah.
which is
Couldn't
bonkers.
even do a shot of just throwing some rings on the floor and filming it with slow-mo. Had to
Yeah.
CGI it.
What was it 500 million?
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely.
Do you remember
crazy.
what Peter Jackson did with the One Ring? He was like, we practiced, we filmed it where Bilbo drops it on the floor and it bounced, and we thought it lacked that punch, that weight to it. So we made the floor magnetic, so it goes like boom when they added the sound effect.
Yeah.
Which really adds to that sense of the power and the magnitude of this item. And these are just CGI, physics defying, bouncing around. It's like, why? This is like $1 billion show, or they bought it for $1 billion? Or I can't even remember what the budget of this is. I know it was high.
Yeah, I think it's $250 per season.
I'm sorry, but what's the most cost effective? Just making 2 like prop rings and just dropping them and filming it, and you can also use those prop rings for other parts of the scene, or to get digital artists to CGI 2 rings and rig all the CGI and the physics of it, and
it's crazy, really crazy, and it stands out to me. It doesn't look good, and with all that money, they should be doing better. Really should be doing better.
Yeah, Peter Jackson was doing the whole force perspective things with the ring. That scene where Boromir picks it up in the snow when it's right up close to the camera. It was like huge, wasn't it? It was like the size of a dinner plate or something. But when you watch the movie, of course, it looks completely seamless.
It's going to be interesting to see them bring Círdan back into it. They've got to introduce him.
Círdan the shipwright. I think we see a glimpse of him in the trailer. I'm convinced we do.
And I've got some more rumors for you.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
All right, let me pull it up. So, according from Patrick McKay, so one of the great show writers, I'm sure the chat will agree. Oh no, this is a different one actually. Celeborn and potentially Glorfindel will be appearing in the future of the show.
Well, Celeborn, I predicted. I think they definitely are going to set that up. I think that's going to be some kind of like hold, or the big reveal, I think, of Galadriel is that her husband is still out there, and he's going to be a total weakling. He's going to be imprisoned. He's going to be weak. He's going to be doting on Galadriel, because we can't take away from her agency. That is, I guarantee 100% that is probably the reason why he wasn't in season 1. Because you hear them say that. It's like, oh, we didn't want to add this character in because it would diminish the input. Like being married to someone diminishes your agency as a human being and what you have to offer. Like, fuck off. Like, I hate that so much. But they do it in everything now. It's just,
look at the
Galadriel don't need no man. Like, Galadriel's got it down. And it's just like, come on. Come on. Are we past this now?
Have you seen the photo of the actor who's playing Círdan?
I've seen the set photo of him in the costume. Yeah,
I'll try and get it up for chat. I'll just turn my camera off a sec.
If I just remove that, there you go.
Image. Right. Sorry about this. Nearly there. Just changing my camera. Source, Waldreg. Let's go. Image. There you go. Is that changed?
That has changed. Yep, there we go. That's Círdan the shipwright.
It looks like an elf, doesn't he?
Well, here's the thing. Like, Círdan does have a beard, so I'm fine with the beard. Is it weird to see elves with beards? Yes, but I know that when they hit like a certain part of their age, they have like aging cycles, and I know when like an elf is super like fucking old, then they do get a beard. So the beard I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But it's just the bemused expressions that the actors so often have. Do you remember those like teaser little vignette video things they did
Oh.
teeing up season 1. I actually did, when I posted the link for this live stream earlier, I used one because it just cracked me up. And they just do this thing where they turn to the camera like, "Oh, hi, didn't see you there," like kind of so bad, like, oh my god, what are we actually doing? And I look at a picture like that and he's like, oh, like this kind of like eyebrow raising thing, like, it's just weird.
Don't, because I remember
I'm fine with a beard. It's all good.
I think it's just the first thing that stands out for me is his hair. Like,
yeah, but the costume as well. The costumes just look so drab and just. He's meant to be a really important elf. Like he's the guardian of the Grey Havens, for God's sake. And like, if you imagine, well, I mean, Círdan was in the Peter Jackson film, was very much in the background in 2 shots. Once at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring, kind of blurry, out of focus. No beard in the Peter Jackson ones, I will say that. And then you see him stood at the side of the harbour during the Grey Haven scene at the end. But I mean, I can't really see the costume up close in that film, but I imagine they'd have put more detail into it in that than they have here. This looks like a costume that any random villager would wear, not the Lord of the Grey Havens.
I agree. And do you think we're gonna get a conversation between himself and Galadriel? Because she had meant to have gone off to the to Valinor.
Yeah.
So it could be, oh, what are you doing here? Like, oh, that scene gets me angry.
Olympic gold medalist swimmer Galadriel swimming across attempting to swim across an entire ocean.
Yes, whilst carrying. Did she have her armor on her? Did she?
Not at that point, I don't think. No,
because she gets it back somehow. But
yeah, I can't remember when she gets that
armor. So much, and awful, absolutely awful. But there we go. We have the actor there, and that's another thing. He doesn't have a presence. Like, just looking from that photo, you don't get the awe of the character. You don't think, oh, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's doing. You just think, like you said, he looks like just a lowborn, where he should be extremely, extremely important.
Bath Time says he looks like Oliver Reed in Gladiator. Taralenian says Círdan at the time the rings are made in the Second Age is younger than Elrond at the end of the Third Age. Okay, maybe he doesn't have a beard then at that point. At the times the rings are made in the Second Age is younger than Elrond at the end of. Oh, okay, yeah. Bath Time says the actor that played him in the films was the same guy that played the main villain in The Equalizer. I did not know that. I thought he was just some kind of probably random New Zealand Kiwi extra, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to play this elf? Like, throw this gown on, just stand in the background there, out of focus, don't do anything." Right, let's get back to this. So I've paused on this shot, and I don't really have anything specifically to say about this shot because it's just Elrond saying no. But when I pause it there, I mean, he's a bit of a looker, this actor, isn't he? Like, God bless him. I know you got to deal with the cards that you dealt. I get it, but when I paused that, did you ever watch Jumanji as a kid, the Robin Williams movie? Doesn't he look like Peter when he's midway through transforming into the monkey?
Oh my God, he does. Oh my days!
It's the ears, and just like the bone structure in the face a little bit.
Yes, it's his thin lip. Oh my God!
I can't unsee it.
That's actually amazing.
Let's move on because it's Uncanny Valley.
He's an awful Elrond.
Yeah, look
at that for a hairstyle. He's rocking the full Elvis. What's he doing? Come on.
Oh God,
he lacks presence.
Yeah,
he's a weak Elrond. He's meant to have so much wisdom during this time, and he's leading the counterattack on Eregion. He's meant to be the leader of it.
Yeah, at the very end, you see him mustering the troops, don't you? Where he's chanting something in Elvish. We'll get to that when we get to the trailer. I'm just scrubbing. Oh, it's around here. Here we go. Yeah.
He doesn't look menacing, does he?
Look at that. What is that?
It
That
looks too
armor.
big for his head.
Yeah. God help us all. Right, let's go back then. We'll power through a little bit more. So
there you go. You got the shot there. The tree's all healed.
So there we go. So I think that's Círdan right there.
Yes.
Receiving one of the rings.
And look, the tree is all healed again.
I think you're 100% right about that prediction before. And she's a cool.
In choosing to wear those rings, you have all become his collaborators.
Yeah, and that's when Elrond's like saying, no, like, don't do it. The rings are evil and bad. And she's like, shut the fuck up, Elrond. You don't know what you're talking about. And
yeah, she's going to be right in this argument, by the way.
Oh, yeah, of course she is. Yeah, of course she is. Undoubtedly. So here we have Galadriel riding another horse. Can't wait to see what expression she has in this season in slow motion. Riding with Elrond, and we get a profile shot in just a second there. Is that a Region where they're riding to? We can kind of see the white towers there. Where do we think that is?
Yeah, I think it's a Region.
Region, yeah.
But who knows what they're riding back to it, so who knows what information they have. I can't wait to see them riding on horses again, and I hope they shoot it at, what was it, like 200 frames per second, probably more. It was like 2,000 frames.
Are they doing some like super high definition frame rate thing for this?
Yeah, and that's one thing actually I want to point out about the trailer. It didn't look, they've only got it in HD, and it looked very blurred. For me, it didn't look the greatest
kind
image.
of glossy. It's similar to the, Battle of the Five Armies especially had like this weird sort of like hazy, glossy filter to everything.
Yeah. Well,
like characters' faces looked kind of waxy, and the lighting looked really unnatural. And
well, the Battle of the Five Armies shot in 50 frames per second, where at normal standard shoots are like 24 frames.
Yeah.
So they did that for the 3D cameras that they shot on at the time. So that's what kind of made it look really ugly, as well as the bad CGI. So I don't know if they've shot this in 50 frames or not, but it just didn't look spectacular to me. Something looks off.
It doesn't look as tangible or lived in, or when you watch the original Lord of the Rings films, I think they mentioned this with the color correction, and probably the actual film grain of them shooting on film helped with this as well. But it does feel very legendary, like it is like a mythology. Like I think the grain and the grit to it help add to the realism of the world and the look of things. And not to mention, I feel like it helps the CGI blend in with the practical stuff too when you shoot something on film like that, and also when you're very careful about where you integrate things like that. Whereas I look at this and that's probably a real location, maybe enhanced with some bits, but I'm just looking at that and thinking none of that looks real to me. And I think it's to do with like the saturation and the digital quality to it. And if they've ran it through some kind of filter, or maybe it's the higher frame rate, it just doesn't look as... I feel like Amazon has this sort of uniform look to all of its fantasy shows. Like if you look at Wheel of Time that they did, it kind of looks exactly the same as Rings of Power. Like a lot of sort of modern fantasy stuff all kind of looks the same. I think it's lost a lot of that grit and realism to it.
Well, the Wheel of Time was a tester for this show. So they did a lot of the experiments. I think there's a video out there that compares a comparison between the two, because it's seen as that was Amazon's way to test all sort of character tropes, the storylines, test it there, and then see if it works for this. Obviously, it didn't, and I've heard the Wheel of Time shows a complete mess.
Yeah,
and awful.
Is that still going, or did it get cancelled? The Wheel of Time.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I genuinely haven't heard, like when season 1 came out, and then I haven't heard any more about it. So I was just curious.
No, I'm not sure.
I haven't seen anyone talking about it. So
no. I think the only one I saw was a channel called Disparu.
Yeah.
And that was like about it. But I agree, it looks too saturated It just throws me out. The colours need to be a little bit more muted for me. It doesn't tonally fit as well. It's like not happy times. It's Sauron's just returned. It looks like a Disney movie.
I wonder where in the UK this was shot, because this whole series is shot in the
Oh,
UK
yeah.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
I can't tell if anything's real. That's why I'm like, is this a real location? Maybe that patch of field, or like I think someone mentioned like a golf course. It just kind of, maybe they shot this at a golf course and added all the trees in CGI. I don't know.
It does look like it's shaped as a golf
A little
course.
bit.
Yeah. But,
I've got to bring this up. I know we're not talking about Gil-galad, but well, I mean, I know we were just before, but any quote from Tolkien himself, I have to share. I feel Tarlenian says, "Quote: For a mighty king as Gil-galad and wise in all lore is Master Elrond from the Silmarillion chapter of the Rings of Power and the Third Age."
wow.
Well, they are in the books. They certainly ain't in this show. So
Yeah, because Gil-galad is really being portrayed as a more like a antagonist, than a protagonist. He seems like the mansplainer of the show. he doesn't seem very wise at all. So Galadriel seems like the wisest one. So, and Elrond's Elrond.
We should all aspire to be like Galadriel. Okay.
I know you believe this ring is deceiving you, but I believe it is guiding me.
Shut the f up. What do you know that this is like, controlling you and is inherently evil?
It's like, sure. It's like, hold on, Galadriel. You're the one who's just been manipulated by Sauron. I'm not listening to a word that you're saying. No chance. Like, and they're going to spin it. Like I said, Elrond raises a fair point. Like, why use them? He's had a hand in creating them. Like, it's a stupid decision. But they'll spin it like she'll talk sense into him.
Yeah.
That she's almighty. And like I say, you have that scene where the Mithril healing the tree and she'll be good. Everything will be okay. It'll be one episode and done. They'll move straight on.
And in season 1, we had a scene similar where we had these two characters together and she shoots him down. He's like, Galadriel, I have seen things. And she just shuts him down, immediately discredits him. You have not seen what I have seen. Like, I'm better than you, Elrond. Like, I've seen more, worse shit than you have. So yeah, we're gonna get more of that. What do you think these two are doing? They're going off on some kind of like spirit quest together. Is this a quest to like potential rumors of Celeborn still alive, so he goes with her, or is this about warning them of the impending doom of the rings and the destruction it could bring? Because she says it's guiding her, and I'm like, well, she's not. She clearly doesn't see the bad thing about these rings at the moment. So is guiding her towards something? Is it the promise of maybe that Celeborn's still there? Or do you think that's going to be a reveal later on that she's not aware of?
Well, I'm trying to remember if I might be making this up here, but I swear there's a bit in the trailer where Elrond goes to Moria again. I just want to see if the costumes match, because I don't know if they go into try and recruit the dwarfs during this bit, or like you say, they go and try and find Celeborn, because as we see these two fight Barrow-wights, and it looks like they meet up with other elves as well during the scene. So they're on the search for something, whether it's for Sauron, they're looking for Halbrand, and that's why they're away when it kicks off in Eregion. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, there is a squad of elves, racially diverse elves from all corners of the globe. They've got like an Asian elf in the ranks.
Yeah, the only one.
Yeah,
where were they before? Like, genuinely, and
that's what I mean. It's kind of like some like ethnic cleansing going on, or something between this and when we get to the events of the Lord of the Rings, which is really fucked up to think about.
It is, and we've also. This is another rumor. You might not know about this one. We've got a new character in the show.
Oh no!
Let me
pull
her up. I'll pull her up for you. So, what's the name? That's a question that often comes to the tongue when speaking
Yeah.
about the Rings of Power. Rings of
While you're looking for that, we've got Carl. Says, "Evening, guys. How you doing, man?" We are just about an hour deep into this discussion, and we're 44 seconds in, so we'll try and chivvy it along a bit. But yeah, I hope you're doing good, man. How's your evening? How's your walking challenge coming on? By the way, have you are we any closer to Mordor yet? Bath Time says, I think after the reaction, we will see Elrond and Celebrimbor as the main focus, and Galadriel will be brought down to Earth as part of her arc this season. I mean, I hope so, but I don't know. I feel like they're just going to double down. It does make me wonder: have they looked at criticism from series one, and they're going to try and course correct and change things, or was this season kind of set in stone from the off, from the writing, and they're just going to stick to that? By the looks of it, Galadriel looks no different to me from how she was acting in season one, so I don't think anything will change.
Yeah, I think they've got their fan base.
Yeah,
that like the show, and as much as we don't like it, there is a fan base, and if they try and please the majority of people now, they're just going to turn away from their hardcore fans. So I think it's sticking, mate. They're not going to change it.
Tyrolinian says, is it Medania? Medania is the name? Is that the name of that new character that you were referring to?
I am not sure. I'm still on the hunt for them, but I'm just getting the image now, and I'll get the name for you as soon as I find it. But you're gonna love and to hear about this new character for sure.
Oh, I can't wait.
Right.
Is she strong? Is she a strong, independent woman who is strong and can wield a sword, who is unmatched in combat and wit and charm? She doesn't suffer fools gladly. Oh, look at her. I can see her already. Hang on, let me... There we go. Oh, hello. I mean, you know, I'd swipe right.
So that is a new elf character that's going to be helping Celebrimbor out.
Of course, because Celebrimbor can't handle it himself, can he? The Master Smith of Middle-earth.
Yes, he is going to be playing, I think the character's Medania?
Yeah.
So Celebrimbor's apprentice. So we know what that means. She's gonna create some of the rings and probably be responsible for the best parts of them. And Celebrimbor's probably going to be absolutely useless as he is in the show already. So there we go, new character.
Why do we keep doing this? It's like, tell me the same old story. Why have we got to keep? It's so funny though, because I mean, you know, when South Park were ripping into this, it's like, put a chicken in and make a layman gay. Like, it's when it's at that point, it's like, of course, like when you were just listed everything off there, you said like, oh, there's a new character. I was like, right, hold on, let me guess. She's this, she's that, she's that, she's that. It's so predictable now. It's just laughable, and it's all to it's to diminish the agency of an old white man character, and it's like, nope. He's going to be a buffoon. He's going to be a geriatric. To be fair, to the character's credit within the show, he didn't know what an alloy was last season. So I think he probably does need all the help he can get. So maybe Merdania is going to be the or Myrdan. Sorry, Myrdan.
Oh no, I think it's
Merdania. Yeah, or Mir. Yeah, is it Myrdan?
So on here it says.
Oh god, Bath Time says, what if she's Anatar in disguise and pops out of the oven as sexy Sauron? Again, like Shelob from earlier, another confused boner.
I imagine if it is, this is the true form.
It's a more convincing disguise. I'll give him that.
But I'm going to make a prediction, and I'll hold my hands up to it. What's going to happen is Celebrimbor's going to get manipulated.
Yep.
And she's going to be the one that goes, hold on, this is wrong. And she's going to figure it all out.
Oh, no.
She's going to be there, and she's going to report it, whether it's to Galadriel, she's going to go on a quest, find Galadriel or something. Something's going to happen, but she's going to figure it out that it's Sauron.
You're so right. You're so right. Figure out that it's Sauron. He's got Halbrand's face. They're
Yeah,
doing the Clark Kent Superman thing, aren't they? It's just
yeah. Yeah, you just know, like you said, as soon as I saw the character and heard that they're going to be the apprentice, it's like, yeah, he's going to be shit. He's going to be downplayed, and she's going to be great.
So how many strong independent female characters do we have now in this show? We have Galadriel, we have Bronwyn, who I've heard possibly dies. So we still technically have her, but she's going to disappear. We've got the Númenórean queen, who looks like she's drowning herself or sacrificing herself to the Kraken. So that's 3. We've got Isildur's sister, who I keep forgetting is a character in this show, who has a very big personality. We've got this new character of Mirdan. That's 5. Am I forgetting any? Is that it? We got 5. Oh, there's the dwarf wife. Disa.
Is it
6.
Disa? Then you got, I don't know. You got that Hobbit, if we mentioned it.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Nori. There we go. Yeah,
wait, is the name Nori?
Yeah, they clipped it off one of the dwarves from the Hobbit films. Yeah.
Oh no, because in my review I called her Poppy.
Poppy. Oh no.
See, there we go. There we go. And Poppy as well. You know, we've got to have some inclusion in there. Sorry, but I've got another rumor for you.
Oh God,
you're gonna love this, and I think it's backed up later on in the trailer. We're gonna be having Disa fighting.
Oh yeah, you see her with the axe. Yeah, she's ready to go. Yeah,
she's gonna be fighting, and I bet you she's badass.
Do you think they're going to remember that they have 2 children who, for some reason, we don't see, and it's really weird, and they're kind of underneath helmets the whole entire time? They're kind of like the children from the others, like they're just ghosts there. It's the ghosts of 2 dwarven children. They don't even acknowledge them half the time.
I think they're going to completely forget. I think 100%.
Me too. Me too.
Just going back on Celebrimbor. So I got a comment here from, where is it now? From the showrunners.
Okay.
So Celebrimbor is becoming the principal protagonist in this season, as his dynamic with Sauron becomes the central relationship. It says, let's have a look. This time, Sauron's agenda sets everything in motion. Adar and his army of orcs, Galadriel and Elrond, and Gil-galad and their armies of elves, all of which will come crashing together in the most ambitious battle of our show has ever seen yet. A battle from which many big players may not make it out alive.
Oh, they did that shit with Game of Thrones, season 6.
Well, who's they going to kill?
No, season 8. Sorry, season 8, episode 3, and it was like, oh, no one's going to make it out of this battle. And did one character die? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think it was like Jorah and.
Was it Jorah? Yeah,
it's like the main ones. No one
Sam
else.
almost gets killed about 5 times, and then we cut back. Like, he's surrounded, we cut away, we cut back, and he's not surrounded anymore. Like, the continuity just really didn't line up with anything in that whole show.
Oh, Sam, the one who's known for not being able to fight, was on the front lines and survived.
Oh, we forgot some strong female characters. We've got the M&M witches. We've got a whole coven of them in this one as well. Yeah, we've got like 5 new ones, haven't we?
Have we?
Yeah, we'll see that in the trailer, because I'm going to get your opinion on that, because I fear they're going to make them the ring wraiths, and I really hope that's not the case.
100% agree.
Bath Time says Dieter is going to recreate the rap battle between Huon and Sauron with the Balrog and sing it to sleep or something. Yes. Huon is the best boy, okay? Like, I don't have a dog. If I do have a dog, I want it to be an Irish wolfhound, and I will call him Huon, and he will be the best boy.
Mm-hmm.
Huon's a good boy. He's the best doggo. Love him. Let's keep. I feel like we're on an epic quest right now. We're like Frodo and Sam. We're going into darkness and destruction. Okay, orcs in makeup, sure. Yeah, cool.
That's one
Right.
thing I will say that I liked so far. It was one of my big problems with The Hobbit,
Yeah.
is that the orcs weren't practical.
Hmm.
And I do like the look of the orcs in the show. I like how they're in makeup, and you get that real sense that they are real.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I do like. I still don't like how inconsistent they are with the daylight stuff with these orcs, but I think loot-wise, I think they do look good, and it's probably one of the only praises I've got of the show.
Hmm. They're just really inconsistent in The Hobbit, aren't they? Because you have like Yazneg, who was the original design for Azog, and he's practical. And then you get the one that gets interrogated by Thranduil and Legolas in the Desolation of Smaug, and he's practical. But then every other one is like CGI. It almost gets to the point where when you see a practical effect orc, it sticks out like a sore thumb. You're like, oh no, that like every other one is CGI. Let's go back to CGI. And of course, you don't want them to, because yeah, there is tangibility, and they're just scarier, I think, when you have them in makeup. So fair play. Like, we've got extras in makeup and costume. This is good. These are positives.
All this may be by his design.
These rings may be how he attained.
We have the sea here talking to the fish.
Yeah, that's Garidan. He's got the ring on,
Uh-huh.
so
Power.
that's him.
Oh, that was an explosion. So there was that wide shot in the previous trailer, wasn't there? Where
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see where this is. It's kind of like a cave or something. There's a lot of jagged stuff going on. It's like a group of people there.
Yeah, I think this is going to be forging or creating, Barrow-wights. I think this is going to be it. I think we're getting that early.
Yeah.
They must be destroyed.
We will discuss the rings once you have answered the question.
Oh, here we go. The man.
Luke, he's been captured by Celebrimbor.
Oh yeah, that's right. Is it
I don't
raining
know. Does it look
outside?
like
looks
he's
really
hiding it?
intense.
I don't think he's been locked up. That doesn't look like a cell. I think he's actually just been hidden away. If you look at Celebrimbor, he's like secretive.
Yeah, he's like going, so no one can see this conversation take place. Like we have things to discuss or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Halbrand's going to make him an offer he can't refuse or something.
He's going to leak his nudes.
Yes. He's hiding him as opposed to capturing him from it. Yeah, I totally agree with that actually now.
Who is this man?
This man. Look how he charges onto that word man. Look at that. Man. You see that meme? It's like a picture of someone going like, and it's like Draco Malfoy getting ready to say the word Potter.
Yeah. I mean, the
like
next
in Gil-galad, everyone.
Yeah,
there he is.
Really wise. The next shot's the one, the money shot.
The line.
Man.
No emotion. What the hell am I meant to think? Right. Get rid of the context. Look on her face. What emotion do you reckon she's thinking?
Oh.
Truly, what would you say if you didn't have no clue with the context? She doesn't look scared.
No.
She just looks, I don't know, just
vacant.
She doesn't look panicked at all.
Yeah.
Her eye twitches though. One of her eye twitches a little bit, but that's about it.
Give her the fucking Oscar. What an achievement. I mean, I get that the elves are meant to be all like Vulcans and emotionless. I get it, but Christ almighty, like not to this. He is no man. He is going to destroy all of Middle-earth, and we should be really scared about that and upset.
Yeah, I mean, if you're that scared, why didn't you tell anyone straight away?
Yeah,
that's the problem the show will always face. It's like, why didn't you tell anyone straight away? You've lost all the accountability, I'm afraid.
Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna go. But yeah, I was thinking the same with the crown that he's got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot like it, doesn't it?
Man.
Man. Oh, there we go. We have the diverse.
There we go. There we've got like Ming Na Wen, Mulan on the left hand side.
Freaking rush hour over here, and then we.
This
just
is the
awful.
Avengers shot, isn't it? This is like Avengers 2012. You know, when the camera like pans around it in 360, you get the hero shot of all of them. What's this motherfucker doing in the background? Like this guy on the right's got, his twin daggers he's preparing. The chick on the left's kind of got a dagger or something she's preparing. Dude in the background is just straight up stood there, like, what are we doing again? What was my pose?
And action. And action, come on. There's ghosts in the background. You've got some Barrow-wights. He's just not doing anything. He's just staring off in the distance.
Does he actually ready himself? I can't remember. He's
turned.
There you go. You missed your cue a little bit there, my dude.
Stab,
but,
twist, and gut. That's what they need to do. Oh, and then
okay, so these are like ghostly apparitions and stuff, right? She's got a bow and arrow. A lot of them have got bows and arrows. We can see that person in the background. Do you think they're gonna recreate the shot from Return of the King? You know when Legolas takes the shot at the King of the Dead and it goes like through his head? Do you think they're gonna do that for these?
And I think there's a shot later on. I don't know if it's the same scene, but you see Galadriel shoot up in the air like this fireball. Or she shoots like a ball into the air, and then she shoots another arrow, and then it explodes. I don't know if she's going to discover that, fire takes them out or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit later on, but I think they will have that bit where it's like, oh, shit, this isn't going to work, and then Galadriel's going to save the day. But this is another major lore break.
Yeah, why are these around? These shouldn't even be around. We haven't even got to the ring wraiths yet, so we're jumping the gun by quite a considerable few hundred years, I want to say, at this point.
Yeah, I don't think they turn up until the Third Age.
Yeah,
if I'm correct, and they're meant to be like the Dunedain. They're meant to be like suffer a plague, but they've just chucked them in, and I quote, because the director said, "Wouldn't it be cool to see them depicted on screen?" That is legit what they said.
Oh God, what a narrow-minded mindset that is, isn't it?
Yeah, I made a video on it because it was like, what? Just because it's cool, shall we just chuck it on? Yeah, let's put Farmer Maggot on because he's cool. Absolute jokers.
Yeah, so I'm just reading off the Lord of the Rings fandom.com here about the Barrow-wights, and it says the history. The Barrow-wights began appearing in the Barrow Downs after the Dunedain of Cardolan succumbed to the ravages of the Great Plague in roughly the Third Age, 1409. Evil spirits were sent by the Witch King of Angmar, who wished to keep the Dunedain from resettling in the region. Yeah, they were used as like a deterrent. They were used to like scary, spooky ghost stories. These phantoms that would possess people or murder people, and people would never be seen again. So people never ventured into those lands again. So not only haven't we got to those three kingdoms of the kingdom of Arthur Dane and all of those other ones that I just mentioned, Cardolan. We haven't even got to them yet because we haven't had any settlers there just yet. Not only haven't we got the actual 9, we haven't had the Witch King, and he hasn't led his sack of the kingdoms. So how are the Barrow-wights here? It's just, but it's that mentality. It's just a vaguely recognizable name. It's interesting, though, isn't it, that we've got Barrow-wights and Tom Bombadil, both of which happen roughly at the same time in the book, both in this show. So it's like they've just gone directly to those chapters and like, right, what hasn't been adapted from that? What have we got the rights to? Let's throw these in.
And again, for Tom Bombadil, it's been quoted, it's because it hasn't been depicted before.
Yeah.
So they're purely going off reaction and member berries.
Yeah.
Do you remember the books? Do you remember the Fellowship? Well, we're the first people to show them on screen. That's all it is. Nothing more. They're just they don't know what they're doing, to be honest.
Yeah. The only thing that might be interesting to see, and it would be choppy, is to see if, with the footage that we have with the Barrow-wights and Tom Bombadil, if someone could edit do like a fan edit of the Lord of the Rings where they do like a video montage of those chapters that get skipped out, and we see almost like a clip show of the in-between bits that we don't see.
Wow.
I'm just
yourself could do that.
I could. It depends what we get. It'd be difficult to make it work, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if someone can do something with that. But yeah, right. There we go.
He deceived me.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Now, so with that, Celebrimbor is looking frightened beforehand, and then there's an explosion, isn't there, of fire.
Well, he's like,
So
yeah. So everything's gonna go
He
quiet.
deceived me.
look at that for an expression.
Yeah, I know.
He's really scared. Oh, here we go. The
It's like,
money
hang on,
shot.
somehow Sauron has returned.
But
Yes.
so he hasn't been pushed then into the fire. So I think we can.
Is it like a? Oh god, this is going to show my age now. Stars in their eyes. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be going to walk up those stairs to the fire, and he's going to walk down. Sauron in a wig.
I still don't know how they're going to transition this over now that we've established that Celebrimbor looks like he's hiding him away, and I don't know if this is this going to be the revealing shot of him, or is this going to be the last encounter that they have of the two?
I think this is going to be the first time that we see him. Well, I mean, there's normal Halbrand who we see shows up to Eregion, and you know he's chatting and he's chilling, and he's going to be getting inside Celebrimbor's head, and I think it is going to be something like if we're to work together, then I need some kind of disguise, and he's going to.
What am I to call you? A sharer of gifts.
Yeah. Hell, Jesus.
Oh, actually,
and he's going to be like, okay, so if we're going to be working together, what am I to
call you?
So, like, you know, to save face.
The main protagonist, everyone.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Jesus. I'm just trying to think what he looks like.
We've got to the point now where there's so many elves with short hair that even him disguising himself as an elf looks weird when he's got long hair. He should have short hair like everyone else. He should have the Elvis haircut that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It'd fit right in.
I love the fact that Celebrimbor's not sending warning alarms. He's not alerting the gods. He's just, what do I call you?
Yeah.
What is this?
Is he wearing contact lenses or something? I don't know.
Yeah. His eyes look darker.
It looks like he's had like cheek fillers a little bit. He's exfoliated. He's moisturized. He's done something. His face looks very waxy.
Yeah, he's got a slick back hair, but he's like balding from like the sides of it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So
he's got some eyeliner on, I think, maybe.
It looks a little bit like the top's forming a mullet, and then it just drops towards the end. But that is Sauron, everyone. And Celebrimbor's just going to work with him.
And this is what I mean. You put this in a trailer, right? This is meant to entice you in. This is meant to make you go, oh my god, I can't wait to see what happens. This is our reveal of Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, Sauron in disguise.
What to call you?
And then, boom. Like, even the soundtrack goes like, dun, 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 and cuts off, ready for the big reveal. And that's your profile shot. That's your next shot that it follows it up with.
Can we go back to Celebrimbor's face?
Yeah, of
on
course
that reveal. Look at that.
What am I to call you?
He's meant to be terrified. He looks lost.
Yeah.
You brought it up earlier on, and it still annoys me when you're on about, you know, the profile shots, what they had when they turn. His annoyed me the most. I think my hate for the actor started then, because I think he does like a walking shot or something, and just thought, oh, he's not great. And he's meant to be carrying this season. I can't see him carrying it.
No, it's not the actor for the job. Yeah, definitely.
A sharer of gifts.
Fuck off.
Is that her? No, that's a different elf lady, isn't it?
Yeah, so that looks like a different one.
Our work begins now.
So this shot, this is Rune, isn't it? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have walked across mountains.
Oh my god.
Okay, we've got the Knights of Ren here apparently.
Look at the mask. That one looks like a gremlin in the middle. It
Yeah.
looks like Elrond earlier on. It's got his ears. It's got his mouth. How cheap does this look? What the heck is this?
What is this? What? This is some kind of like death cult or something? Like, please don't tell me this is how the people in Rune are going to dress, like all of them.
I think it is.
Because
I
the
think-
Rune armor in the Peter Jackson ones was kind of like spiky. It was edged, wasn't it? Like the Easterling armor. It's kind of cool. This looks like it's some kind of weird cult, though. But I mean, look at it. These look like extras that you'd find on a Disney Plus Star Wars show in the background.
100%. It made me think of. Did you see Boba Fett?
Yes,
You know the one where they had like the bikers.
Yeah.
It just looks awful,
Mhm.
genuinely. And
Look at the budget they had for this again. Like, what the hell are we
what
doing?
the hell are those masks? They look like. Do you know the pound shops out Poundland? And
Yeah.
You go in and they got like the back section is just awful, like cheap
Crappy
Halloween
toys.
costumes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
crappy toys. It looks like that. And I'm guessing these are going to be on the hunt for Tom Bombadil. And the stranger, I don't know. I reckon they are going to capture. Is it Nori?
Yeah,
And
these
then
like bounty hunters or something, maybe. Like, it's
Yeah.
just...
Yeah, because he looks like the one in the third row. He looks like he's got a sword. Is it in his hand?
He's got a sword sort of resting on his shoulder, and then you got the other one who's got some kind of like pickaxe looking thing.
I reckon they are going to capture Nori,
Mhm.
and it's going to be not Gandalf's main arc this season is going to try and help her out.
Like, this is the first time that we're seeing Rune, and you just think about the Peter Jackson films again, how the attention to each province, each region had their own architecture, had their own costuming, and like you could look at something in that and go, that's Dwarven styling, that's Elvish, that's men, but that's like Rohan, because it's, very thatched barns, and they have like the greens and the golds and everything in the way they dress. The way that the Rohirrim dress is completely different to how the people in Gondor dress, for example.
Yeah.
What are we trying to say here for Rune? Like, what is this? It's like they've opened a fancy dress chest and just threw all random combinations of stuff together. I don't look at this and go, that's from Middle-earth, that's from Lord of the Rings, and specifically, that's from Rune.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, if you look at that mask, the one that looks like a gremlin, look how far down the eyes are comparison to the actual face. Like, that's fully... They can't see out of that.
And it's baking hot in the desert, and they've got these metal masks on.
That's a
breathe.
good point.
It's like a tin... It's like, like a hot box on their face.
Oh, my...
As I was saying last night during the reaction, it reminds me of that scene from Django Unchained with the KKK where you see the bags on their heads.
Yes, it does. And I think I've just seen a comment as well saying that they look like Tusken Raiders.
Yes, yeah, there we go. Bath time, yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. And there's even a
Awful.
shot later on I mentioned it might be next actually, where they're spying on them from afar. You see them like sauntering through the desert from a distance. We haven't seen that already, have we? Yeah, this shot, it reminds me of like R2D2 and C3PO in the desert. Because these are spying on them clearly. It looks like some kind of like telescope or something that they're looking through.
Oh yeah, so they're
you see it there, yeah, telescope.
Mountains and
Oh, I
deserts.
can't wait to be introduced to these. Really
To help my
can't.
friend find his destiny.
Oh,
So
shut
yeah,
up.
we see those people in the background there. And I wondered, are those like villagers? Because she went alone, didn't she? She didn't go with like female
To help my
Sam.
friend find
No, she went alone. I mean, do they look like Harfoots?
I don't know, because there's that shot where Gandalf does like the big windstorm thing, and we see female Frodo, and it looked like someone else hanging onto the rope as they're kind of like blowing in the wind. And I'm guessing looks like there's a couple of characters back there actually. I think it's not just the one, is it? If
find his destiny.
is that someone else as well there, right behind her? I think, yeah.
Not all those who wander
are lost.
So they're back. And was it Nori? What does she say? Does she say she's helping to find his destiny or something?
Yeah, what was it? I've walked across mountains and deserts.
To help my friend find his destiny.
Oh, she's talking about Gandalf there. What's his destiny?
What's his destiny? How's she know?
Yeah.
And what's she
Well, remember,
do,
he couldn't
really?
speak a word of the Queen's when he was first introduced, and then in an episode he was like forming full sentences.
Oh yeah, I remember that. What was it? Always follow your nose. Couldn't speak
yeah.
before. I am good.
I forgot about that one.
Jesus, that legendary line.
I forgot about that completely. Oh, do I try and watch season 1 before this? I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. I don't know if I can.
Not. What did she say? He's not Sauron. I am good.
I am good.
Right, that's my new photo.
Someone wrote that line.
I know that went through all of the checks with the script supervisors, everything, and they were like,
yeah.
Oscar, give him the BAFTAs.
Oh god.
Oh.
These guys, right? Oh, sorry, these gals. Sorry.
Yes.
We've got the moth. Now, was that moth motif in the previous season? I feel like it was with Gandalf because you know the whole Gwaihir thing with the moths. Was that a thing?
I can't remember. I think I swear, didn't the other witches use the moths in the first season?
Yeah,
did they blow
I
something
remember them.
and then it set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think these are going to be causing a ruckus in Moria. I think we get a shot of bats later on. I think these are going to be causing problems and maybe even awaken the Balrog. Oh god!
Oh, you think these are in? I thought these were in Rune. I thought these are going to be because the pillars kind of look Egyptian-y and like sandstone-y.
That's a good shout.
We've got 5 of them here. I mean, did you watch Star Wars Acolyte that came out recently?
The power of one.
It reminds me of that lesbian space witches. Yeah, it looks like that to me. Now these are going to be, I think, the same cult as the real Slim Shady from the previous season. And I was trying to count them in my head. I was like, right, there was 3 of them the last season, right? There was 3. Yeah. And we've got 5 here. 1, 2, 1 in the middle, 3, 4, 5, plus those 3, that equals 8. I thought, oh god, we're 1 dangerously close from the number 9. I thought, please no, it can't be. Kings of Men, please.
Well, there's only 1 King of Man left in the show.
Yeah,
and that's Waldreg. So who knows who might be the witch?
Depend on.
So we see a staff here. She's like raising up this. I can't tell if that's someone behind that swarm or they're being conjured out of these moths.
I think they might be being conjured because we see in the previous show, was it like the last shot, did they turn into moths or something? And that staff is the same as that woman's one from season 1. Yeah.
The same women that did look like the Wraith versions of the ring wraiths when they were dying. So this is why I'm thinking, oh god, we've got 8 out of 9 so far, and they did look like the ring wraiths. I don't think that's a coincidence.
I genuinely think they're going to be the ring wraiths. 100%.
And this one's the ringleader. This one's going to be like essentially the Witch King because you know they've got a staff and they look a bit more imposing. The only other thing I could think of is maybe they're conjuring. Maybe this is going to be one of the Blue Wizards. I don't know if they've said that the Blue Wizards are going to be in it or not, but I'm just guessing, you know, they're throwing Barrow-wights in there. You mentioned potentially Shelob and Tom Bombadil. I'm thinking, what else do they potentially have the rights to? Maybe the Blue Wizards, if this is in the East. But
I think the show has been linked with Blue Wizards. I think, you know, the actor in Game of Thrones who played Mance Rayder?
That's right. Yes, yeah.
So he's in the show, but he's not been shown yet. So let's have a look. I'm just looking here.
So he could be one of them, maybe. He could be maybe one of the wizards.
Oh, it says here he's playing as a wizard hunting down Gandalf. So I think he's playing a wizard. So I think we're getting the blue wizards.
It's got a bit, yeah. It has to be then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I guess he could be. He's not going to be Oh God, no! They're not going to do Saruman, or it wouldn't be him, and I don't think it'd be Radagast. So yeah, I think it's a safe bet. He's probably going to be one of the blue wizards, which is a shame because I mean they've never been physically described, I don't think, in the books. But I always thought, when they go to the east, not to say that they have to be the nationality of the place that they go to, but I always thought it'd be cool if, you had like an Asian wizard in Rune, because they have to sort of like blend in plain sight, don't they? And I thought it would be cool if, you kind of had like a Middle Eastern vibe to one of them, or, like a kind of Chinese mythology kind of vibe to what I don't know. That's just how I've always envisioned them. I know everyone's different. I didn't really envision Mance Rayder playing one of the blue wizards, but that's just me.
Well, I think
check me out wanting diversity in my show when it calls for it. Look at that.
I was going to say that's a perfect chance. They've got a perfect opportunity to be diverse and have it make sense, and they haven't taken it, which doesn't surprise me.
No, only when it suits them. Right. Okay. We have it's going to be a "you shall not pass" moment, slamming the staff into the ground. Boom. And then we get twisters. We got Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt trying to survive this.
Ask to stop the fire.
Here we go. Yeah, someone's holding on to Nori there, isn't she?
Yeah, let me just go back. Oh, it's before that.
Is it my task to stop the fire?
Yeah, Nori. It looks like someone else right behind there on the right-hand side.
If you look at the hair, they look like they've got like like the branches that they had in the first show.
Yeah.
First season. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Harfoot. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's Poppy or someone has come to them.
They're going to add Fat Sam back into it again.
Please do. Please do. I'm begging.
And you know what they're going to say? You know what they're going to do?
Go on.
They're going to say, like, "I'm going to Rune alone." Of course you are. And I'm coming with you.
Oh, please don't, Poppy. Please. Awful.
Is it my task to face Sauron?
Is it my task to face Sauron? Where's Goldberry? God damn it.
Yeah, wow.
Where is the River Woman's daughter?
This is what I don't get as well. So we have Tom Bombadil in the book, being all singing, all jolly, merry, not really caring about the affairs of the world. He's into the beauty and the nature. And then all of a sudden he's like depressed, down to earth mentor here who's heavily involved.
And he's questioning whether he should interfere or get involved. And I'm sorry, like the lighting and how depressing it is and everything. I'm getting Luke Skywalker flashbacks from Last Jedi here, where Rey's like, "We need your help." And he's like, "What do you think? That I'm going to whip out a laser sword and face down the First Order all by myself?" And like the unwillingness to intervene or to help out or to act. I'm just kind of getting... It's like, "Tom, we need your help. You're super powerful. We need your help in this fight." And it's like, "Oh, is it... You don't need my help. Like, what, do you expect me to, face Sauron?"
Yeah. And then you think, why haven't they used him when Sauron comes up, comes around and has the rings? Why don't they use him if he's all powerful and he's playing a mentor in this season? He's going to be teaching Gandalf to control his powers. I just don't get why they've gone along this route with him. He's a character that doesn't make sense for why they brought him in, especially playing this role. You can have him, let's say, a cameo or something. You got the Barrow-wights, have him there. If they want to call back, even though it's stupid, put him in there. Don't make him a mentor and change his complete characteristics. Because I just don't get how he will go from this to how he is in the Fellowship.
Yeah. And you mentioned there that I didn't realize that he's playing a mentor to Gandalf to help him harness his powers. Like, are we talking about a power level here of Gandalf to Tom Bombadil? And I'm not taking anything away from Bombadil. I know that his origins, notoriously ambiguous, and is he a Maiar, but he's oldest and fatherless? Is he Eru himself, which I think Tolkien disputed in one of his letters? He's a complete enigma, but I don't know if he'd be like as powerful as Gandalf, and to help him Gandalf get his powers back, like the very reason that Gandalf was sent to Middle-earth was to protect the people of Middle-earth and to help usher the people to a better tomorrow. They couldn't directly use magic. They had to sort of like keep it very subtle, didn't they, with the magic? They couldn't sort of like face Sauron with all of their magical might. They have to sort of like guide other people to correct that, because they have to sort of like hide in plain sight, which kind of begs the question that doesn't really make sense in The Hobbit, where by the devices of Sauron, the White Council were able to oust Sauron from Dol Guldur. I don't really understand that, if they have to keep their powers to a level. But now Tom Bombadil's teaching Gandalf how to use his powers. It's like, Gandalf, you were sent here via comet, apparently, by some higher power from space. Like,
because he's going to be teaching him as well about the stars. I'm just pulling up an image.
It's like the very fact that Gandalf crash landed to Middle Earth via comet and not boat from the west.
Here we go. Is that popped up?
Yep. Let me just. Yeah, there we go.
So he's going to be teaching him about the stars, and I think he's potentially going to be creating his staff here, and I think that's possibly what he's testing out with the stick outside. Could be. I reckon he'll get his hat from Tom Bombadil. I'm pretty sure.
It's going to be very early on in the season then, because I don't think that Tom Bombadil's in Rune, is he? Oh no, we see him go on the adventure, don't we? He goes to Rune with him. Yeah, he goes to the very desert.
But he mentions, I think, later on in the trailer about, like, are you going to leave Nori? Are you going to like abandon her or something like that? So I reckon he might be going on a quest with Gandalf to try and get her back.
Right. Oh, do you think Nori's going to get like stolen by the witch people?
Yeah. Or those assassin.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I reckon they might get captured by them, and I reckon Tom Bombadil and Gandalf, on the way to trying to get them back, I reckon they will then bump into a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
It might be someone who Tom Bombadil's trained before. Who knows?
I mean, there are grounds to have Tom Bombadil and Gandalf kind of be acquaintances, because there's the bit at the end of the Return of the King book where, before everything kind of gets wrapped up, they mention that Gandalf the White pays a visit to Tom Bombadil towards the very end of the book. And that's why I always liked the idea that Tom Bombadil was Eru sort of in disguise, like his mortal form on Earth, to oversee everything that happens. Because I always thought that's quite poetic, that Gandalf fulfills his task, has a final conversation with Eru, and then after that, that's when he decides to sail into the west to complete his mission, essentially. But then Tolkien was like, yeah, no, he's not God. That goes completely against everything that Tom Bombadil was, and if you think that, then you haven't understood the character. And I'm like, oh God, sorry, I'm not worthy Tolkien, I'm sorry. But yeah, so like in the book, there are grounds that Gandalf and Tom have met and could be like BFFs. So I'm fine with that, but it's just, what point is this serving at the story at this point to show us this? And yeah, like if you're putting Tom Bombadil in, then you just got to go for it. So to have this like drab, boring, curmudgeonly, sort of bitter and angsty Tom Bombadil, I'm like, well, that's not the character then. So what are we doing? I do think Tom Bombadil would be a very difficult character to make work, though, in live action. I think you got to be able to do it right.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't see why they've revealed him straight away in the trailer.
Well, it's that desperation. I said, I think, just to for anyone who's vaguely interested or read the books, they'll go, oh, I'll check it out because Tom's in there. It's like a last ditch effort to try and get any kind of excitement for this show, I feel.
I got a quote from the showrunners about Tom Bombadil.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, Patrick McKay and Payne took the liberty of giving Bombadil a second home on the outskirts of a region called Run. So he is going to be living there. Our story, he has gone out to the lands of Run, which we learn used to be sort of Edenic and green and beautiful, but now is sort of a dead wasteland. So
he's
there
got
we
a
go.
holiday home in. Can we do him on some kind of like property tax evasion or something that Tom Bombadil has 2 properties?
Oh, here we go. Oh, actually, I've just found out something else as well. So we've got some more information.
Go on.
So I'll read this one first and I'll go on to the next one. So the production designer had the idea of incorporating a star map on the ceiling to connect Tom with the larger universe and indicate that he has been watching the constellations for signs and for the stranger's arrival. So he basically knew that the stranger was coming.
So he's some kind of like prophet. He's some kind of fortune teller, astronomer.
Yeah, and he knew that Gandalf was coming, and he's been watching that, waiting for that.
He's like the Oracle from the Matrix.
Yeah, he just sees and
don't worry
knows
about
it.
that vase. What vase? That vase.
I got some new news for you, which I've just found, which
Uh-huh.
you're going to be delighted. I'm sure of it.
Ecstatic already. Let's do it.
Poppy, played by Megan Richards, returns for the Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power season 2.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we've predicted this whole show between the two.
Yeah.
I think we've got it. I think we've got it all mapped out.
there we go. She's gonna find Nori, and
Yep.
yeah, that's we've literally just guessed one of the main plots for the Hobbits. There we go. She's gonna be in it. I don't know how she's gonna get all the way to Rune by herself. I don't know.
Did she just like follow them? Was she like Smeagol tailing after the Fellowship?
She's just eating those berries just after them.
What is it? It's Poppy. She's been following us for 3 days. You just see her in like the dark, like peering over that like.
Oh, to be fair, one of the things I liked about the season was the song that she sung. That's probably the only thing I liked about the Hobbits. Was that not Hobbits? Sorry, Harfoots. I don't want to ruin and put dirt on the name.
It's legalities, you know. We can't call them Hobbits.
Oh yeah, they can't. There's a
I can't call him Gandalf, I don't think. That's why they have to keep calling him the Stranger. I thought it was just like a bit of misdirection at first, and then by the end of season 1, I was like, oh no, they actually legally can't call him Gandalf.
Do they call him Anatar in this? Because I'm not sure if they're not allowed to call it him.
I'm not sure. He just says the what is it? A sharer of gifts. Where it's Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, I think, is the actual title that he goes by.
Right.
I don't know. I think they've got access to just the Second Age material, haven't they, from the appendices? Or did I thought I saw some crazy rumor that they'd asked for some rights to the Silmarillion. That was from a while back. I don't know if that's true.
I'm not sure.
Or if they have more rights to the appendices now. God help us all if that's the case.
God help us.
Speaking of Silmarillion stuff, we've got Ar-Pharazôn right here, entering the mirror dimension for some reason via the Palantir. There we go. It's like fucking Doctor Strange. It is red half cape.
You know what? I did like this little bit. I liked how it was depicted on first glance. Just looking at that now, it looks a little bit too much.
It's a bit over the top, I think.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Balrog in the fire. And I swear to God, isn't that the shot and the angle from where, you know, where it like raises up on the bridge and like flexes and like engulfs itself in flame? I don't know. It could be me just reaching, but if we look at the Balrog in this, it just looks like that same angle and shot.
It does actually, yeah.
I don't know. I could be reaching a little bit for that, but
But how's
just
the
like the
context
angle and
of that?
everything.
Like, what's that got to do with anything?
The Sauron's just like, oh, I remember those things. I thought they all died out in the War of Wrath, but there he is.
I've got a little theory.
Go on.
So we see that Durin has got a ring in
Yep.
the trailer, and he gets given a ring. Do you potentially think this is Sauron and Adar? He's gone to Moria, and he's threatening, doing a little threat, to say, take the ring and that, listen to what I say, or else, the Balrog. Here's the threat that's living beneath you guys, and if you disobey us, that it'll come out and get you all. Or because I don't know who else that is relevant to.
Yeah, to me, I didn't even think about, but yeah, you're right, because he does have a ring of power, doesn't he? So I think that he does have to head there, and he does have to hand over the ring. I thought this was probably still in the Forges or something, and this was some kind of like prophecy or something that Sauron could just see in the fire. I didn't think that this is something he's showing to the dwarves, maybe. This is why it's crazy, because it's called Durin's Bane.
Yeah.
But it's not meant to be appearing at this point, is it? So I feel like the dwarves know of what this thing is, and that it resides there. But I feel like because it's not meant to show up until later, I don't know. They're messing around with the timelines. I'm trying to put it in line of the books, and I shouldn't be doing that because none of it makes sense. But
it just feels odd, and then we get a shot after this of a Balrog doing parkour, and he's just jumping about.
Well, it was awoken last time, wasn't it, in season 1? In that, again, like another comparison, like the Acolyte, where, oh, let's throw the back of Yoda's head in for 2 seconds. That will get people talking. Oh, let's throw Darth Plagueis in there for one shot and do nothing with it. It's just like, the Balrog. You remember that? Yeah, look at that for it. They even put that in the trailers, didn't they? And it was like, look at that tease at the end of that episode. You excited? You in? You ready to see the Balrog? And it was woken up by a leaf, I think it was, wasn't it? That was thrown down the chasm, and we follow the leaf all the way to the bottom. And then the Balrog just gets super pissed off because a leaf fell down there. So,
well, he's straight up fighting in this scene.
Breaking out. Yeah, like, is he still in the mine? Yeah, I don't know if he'd broke outside of the mountain at this point.
Might lead to an even greater catastrophe.
He's having a fight against something.
Is he fighting something? I thought he was like breaking out and then like going to try and like climb the chasm. Because they have. I will say though, the wings are kind of cool in this shot.
Yeah, I agree.
I just noticed like when he's like there, we actually have like smoke and shadowy wings. Like they're made of. Oh, we see the little claw there on the top left of the screen actually. So that is like a proper wing. So I do. Yeah, how it's kind of that's a better shot of it there, I guess. So that's kind of cool. But Balrogs aren't meant to have wings. I'm in the camp of Balrogs don't have wings. I don't know where you fall in that camp, but again, it's like we're using the same design here as Peter Jackson's trilogy, and then my brain goes, oh, so this fits in the same universe, and of course it doesn't. So it's have the balls to like come up with a different design for the Balrog so it fits in your own pocket universe, and by using similar designs of things and using the same dialogue from the Peter Jackson movies, it just kind of muddies the water of continuity for me a little bit.
I don't get how they're gonna fit it in though. Like in terms of it, the structure of an episode. Let's say it is him trying to escape. The shot looks a bit dodgy, like them just like chucking it in there of him just like trying to bash against the wall. You know what I mean?
Is he in? I'm trying to see. It looks like he's like underneath rock here, or it's the side of a mountain, and he busts out the side of it, and we get like a bit of a landslide. Yeah, I thought we were outside, but he could just be like in the deep pit here, and he's just climbing up. Which begs the question, why doesn't he just fly up? But maybe he can glide, but he can't actually fly. Yes. Yeah, there's the ring there.
Oh, that's awful,
Take off
isn't
the
it?
ring.
That's a rubbish ring. Look at that.
Let's go back to it.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
Even the other ones.
Now, wasn't there a shot in the previous trailer of Disa going underground and picking up something that looked like a palantir? I think that blue gem is like part of that ore that resides deep underground, and there's like the cave in and the avalanche, and Disa goes down and tries to reclaim it because he's like, I don't know if it's gonna be like an Arkenstone type thing, but this precious gem, and he's like, right, we need to dig, we need to tunnel, we need to go deeper. And then there's like, all these avalanches and stuff as they get closer to the Balrog, and he's like, no, keep going. And then Disa picks up that giant palantir thing. I think that's going to be the ore that the ring's made out of.
Yeah, it could be, because they established, didn't they, in season 1 that they were mining for something.
Yeah.
Although they have got mithril there, and the other rings were made from mithril. I don't know if they're going to tie that into it as well.
Yeah.
But having that gemstone, it looks different to the other rings. I reckon they're going to definitely incorporate that into it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the shot with the Balrog. I know Morgoth was the lord of the Balrogs, and I'm just thinking, because I think it looks like it's attacking something. I don't know if it's attacking. I don't know if Sauron randomly turned up there. I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's attacking something.
Because he plunges it into the ground there, doesn't it? So it looked like he was doing that to break his fall down like the side of the mountain.
Yeah, and then it looks like it's slamming it into it. It's slamming it into something.
Yeah.
Father, take off the ring.
We got Brinsley in the comments. Brinsley saying, how's it going all? And he says, I've been looking up some old Middle-earth art pre-Peter Jackson movies. Really cool seeing different styles. Middle-earth art. Are you talking about like the like the Ted Naismith artwork? I mean, there's a lot of artwork that predates the Peter Jackson movies. And some of it's used in like the illustrated versions of the books that have come out, if that's the stuff that you're referring to. But yeah, there's some really good stuff. Love seeing that old, like, different interpretations of things. 29th of August, there we go. Yeah, this is the Balrog waking up.
I'm afraid, Durin.
They're going to be having a rebellion in Moria.
Darkness will bind them.
Disa again is going to be telling Durin what to do. She's going to be everything she says is going to be wise.
She was inferring treason in the last season, and is it regicide where you kill a monarch?
Yeah, I think we're going to get it.
Yeah, because she was, and it was like really sinister, wasn't it? It's like, and then you will be king. It was like a Lady Macbeth moment. It's like, let's kill the king and let's rule together. And
yeah, I think because we see a shot of Durin, looks like he's gathering the troops, and you see him getting hit by King Durin earlier on in the trailer, and I think there is going to be rebellion, and if that's the case, then surely Disa's a villain. But I'm sure they're going to spin it that the king's gone mad.
Well, when he grabs his hand, there, let me just go back a second. He does kind of look like a frail old man, like he's got dementia, or he's getting like angry or something. You see him just kind of shaking, almost like here.
Father.
Like I think they are going to go with like the whole kind of like dragon sickness type of thing with Thorin. He can't be reasoned with, and he's like mentally unwell.
He's got one hell of a slap.
Yeah, I know. He goes flying, doesn't he?
I'm afraid, Durin.
Do you remember when she sung to the rocks, didn't she, in season 1?
Oh god, she did. Yeah, she did.
Gosh.
I think we get that again in this, don't we? Because I remember seeing like a trailer, like it was the behind the scenes, and she's with two other dwarven women, and she's like, oh, like Luciano Pavarotti or something.
I can't wait.
So we got this shot, and if you look just behind the word "will," you can see a congregation of people on the rocks. And this looks like some kind of human sacrifice thing. This is, I'm guessing, what that whole Kraken scene was in the first trailer that we were talking about. And we couldn't tell whether it was the Númenórean queen, the blind Númenórean queen, but I think it probably is, because we see this shot, and there we go. We get a shot of her there. And I'm guessing that will probably lead into that. She was like chained up, wasn't she? Was she like chained and under the water?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's going to be some kind of like, she can't see, but it's going to be some kind of like sensory deprivation thing, or, you know, like using the force. Like when you've got the blast shield down, your other senses are more in tune. So I don't know. Maybe Little Mermaid. Yeah, there we go. Tom Bombadil and
in his second home.
Talk about your fixer-upper. Right.
Will you abandon them to their doom?
Will you abandon them to their doom? Is he talking about Nori? Or is he on about, or have he shaped it for the trailer as if it's like, because he doesn't act during the Second Age. You know, he doesn't take part in any of the battles. So I'm wondering if it's questioning him like, oh, you know, will you act in this war against Sauron or not?
Yeah, because there's loads of dead trees here, and I think what you mentioned earlier about on the article saying that it was once like this lush green beautiful landscape, and now it looks like this. This is going to be from the introduction of evil into the world, because at this point Sauron has corrupted the Eastern Kingdoms, hasn't he? I think, has that already transpired, or
I'm not sure.
Because yeah, he's probably just saying like, oh, will you abandon them to their doom? Just meaning, are you just gonna let them all die essentially and let Sauron take over? And
will you abandon them to their doom? Oh,
we've got an angry orc from that's Regian right there in the background.
Oh, what have you done to me?
Yeah, there we get. Oh, he's there. We see some acting a little bit.
Steady, Celebrimbor.
He's like, what? Sauron was actually evil the whole time?
But I don't get it. I really don't. He's
like, I was framed.
What have you done to me? Do you reckon he's speaking to Sauron during that?
I think it's Sauron.
Oh, what have you done to me?
Yeah.
I just wonder how that conversation's going to go down. Like, because he doesn't really look in any distress before that. So he must have done something in a previous scene that must have been messed up for him to question that.
Yeah, I don't feel like this is going to be like the big end game final breakdown of the character. This is just going to be sort of, yeah, I don't think this is going to be like Fall of Eregion. Like after that, I think it's just going to be some other thing that's happened before.
But I just think, what could he have done to have made him so rageful before that? You know what I mean? Like he looks really angry. So Sauron must have done something or made him do something bad. But I don't get what they could do that would cause this reaction.
Oh, is that a little mirror on the desk there, like a kind of jewelry box thing? We got to get like the on the nose scene of him looking at the mirror himself. Like, what have you become?
Oh gosh!
It's a long, hard look at himself in the mirror. Maybe. Let's see. Cool guys, don't look at explosions. Isn't Sauron so cool?
Oh god.
Oh god, leave. So I didn't catch that on my first reaction. It's when I watched through it frame by frame last night, and I caught it then because I was probably talking over it from something before. Leave Sauron to me. And our new actor playing Adar right there. Sure. Now he's crafted some kind of throne for himself here, and we see him kill someone with like a spiked crown in a second. Right here.
Yeah.
And it's someone with like long hair, so I actually didn't know who this was. I was trying to think, who could he be sacrificing?
Yeah, and what? Is that gonna have magical powers?
Because that shit looks like it's gonna hurt. It doesn't look like it's gonna tickle. And they're willingly bowing before him. Okay, well, we're safe. It's not Waldreg. We know it's not Waldreg, so that's fine. This could be anyone else. And I was trying to think, is there anyone else in the crew that like joined him?
No, it's got to be a character of importance. Surely they wouldn't just waste a cool moment like this. With
Brinsley
a
says, "Do we know why he was recast?" I think the actor had just had
schedule.
enough, hadn't he? Did he just?
I think it was scheduling,
Oh,
which
was
is
it?
basically
Yeah.
means he didn't want to do it.
Told his agent to book something in quick. Just make sure you book me in for a job during these dates.
Yeah.
So
It reminds me of the. Have you ever seen Chitty Chitty Bam Bang?
the child catcher.
Yes, he just reminds me
Yeah, he
of him.
does. He does. Yeah, no, you're right. It's the nose, isn't it? It's the nose and the long hair.
Oh, so he's going to be leading the siege of Eregion.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense because it's part of Sauron's plan.
Well, Sauron's just going to be standing there looking cool. He's going to be like one of the people, but really he's going to be like, yes, my plan has come to fruition, and he's just going to be walking around looking badass.
But how though? How? Because they're going to need to link this between them, because this is meant to be Sauron's plan for causing the fall of Eregion. So I don't get how, because Adar and Sauron, they're enemies, according to the show. So I don't get how that's going to link. Because it says here, from the quote that I read earlier on, that they are all linking together into Sauron's plan. That's a quote from the writers. He's not said how. Whether they make peace, I don't know. They're doing a flashback, showing how he became a Uruk-hai, but I don't know. And also, actually, I don't know if you know this as well. They are having a flashback showing the original form of Sauron.
What are you talking in armor, or are we talking about
Yeah.
original form of Sauron, like Maya form?
Actually,
Tar brings up a good possibility there. He says it's a flashback. He is killing Sauron. Adar said he killed Sauron in season 1. Maybe could be him.
Yeah, so I think it is going to be Sauron in the original armor in flashback scenes, because there's going to be a flashback scene of the fight between Sauron and Adar, and the showrunners has mentioned it's a different person who's cast is Sauron, so they're just confirming that.
Well, we've got here, this was an earlier shot in the trailer of them, sort of the orcs presenting a crown. So is this in sort of like present time, do we think?
Yeah.
Because we
I
just
think
said
that's the crown
might be a
that stabs him.
flashback. Oh, no, that's a different... Oh, hang on. Is it on like a cushion or something? I didn't see that.
I reckon that's the crown that he uses to stab.
Oh yeah, it's on some kind of like holder there, isn't it? It's on it's like mounted. But I think that is the same. Is that the same crown? Yeah.
Oh, actually,
I'm trying to like compare the two. I think it is. I think it's just like, yeah, resting on this thing. Because I don't know. I think United Cutlery will probably want to like production this or something. Yeah. And we had this shot, and I was getting Boromir vibes. The 3 arrows.
I think that's the female elf, because if you see in the hero shot, she's got a bow and arrow, and that looks like a female.
I thought it was Galadriel at one point, and I thought, well, she muscled off a volcanic eruption. I was like, what's 3 arrows?
We can only hope. We can only hope they fix the canon. They're on about big game players dying in the Battle of Eregion, so fingers crossed.
We see her like armor here, but I think when we get another hero shot of Galadriel, she's not in all this armor, so it's probably just... I love this orc though in the background. I drew attention to this last night. So that orc in the middle there is just like doing a backflip on fire, but look at this other guy on the right hand side who's kind of hunched over a little bit. He is on fire, and he picks up a sword and he's like, oh, I'm fucking having you, mate. Like he's ready to go. Look at that shot. Like, yeah.
I'll tell you something that I'm looking forward to is that you see these battle scenes.
Yeah.
There's a couple of shots in here, and from first glance, you think, oh, it looks good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very interested to see it play out and to just look at a couple of the extras in the background, because it all looks like it's all choreographed, one big
Choreographed,
choreography.
yeah.
So I reckon there's going to be a couple of fuck-ups, and I reckon it's going to be some good, juicy content out of that.
It's me. All right.
Oh, is she reaching for an arrow there? Do you see her right hand like lift up a little bit to sort of reach for another?
Promise me.
Oh yeah, that'll be her last stand. She'll shoot the arrow, kill that orc.
No, do you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna pull one of the arrows out of her and try and launch that.
What, like javelin?
Promise me.
No, no, sorry, because she's got the bow in her hand, in her left hand, hasn't she? She's holding on to the bow. I think she's literally going to pull one of the arrows out of her body and use that to fire at the orc.
Yeah, 100%. That orc is getting it, and she's going to
Promise me.
deliver it, and that's going to be her last act.
You will not stop until he is destroyed.
Forgiveness takes an
Oh yeah, this guy. I forgot about him. They didn't have him in the trailer at any point before this, did they?
Oh, Aaron Deer. No, is it Aaron Deer?
You're asking the wrong person here, mate. I can't remember.
Yeah. While his bird in the show, she is not coming back.
Bronwyn,
So, yeah, she's, I think, again, scheduling. She doesn't want to do it, basically. So I reckon her character will have been dead.
Yeah. And
It wasn't scheduling.
Yeah, scheduling.
takes an egg.
Oh, here we go. So I actually didn't read up on the Entwives, so I'm hoping you can possibly clue me in on this if you know more about them than I do. The Entwives were clearly around, but I can't remember when they all left. They went to look for gardens, didn't they? In where the Southlands used to be, and they never returned from there. But I can't remember when they set out from there.
So from memory, Tolkien's had a note saying that they were around during the Second Age, so they were here, so they can use it.
Right.
And they rumoured that they did get taken out by Sauron before the Last Alliance. So that's in one of his notes. So I think them using them isn't as bad as lore-wise. I think they can use them and it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's quite shocking that they've revealed it straight away. But like I said in a quote that Treebeard lost the Entwives and Amazon found them. So they'll milk anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, here we go. It says, according to Treebeard, Fimbrathil was the most beautiful of the Entwives. However, prior to the Third Age, the Entwives abandoned the Ents in order to start a garden east of Fangorn Forest in what became the Brownlands. Following the end of the Second Age, they disappeared. When Treebeard went searching for them, he could not find them. Okay, so there's grounds to have them in this. Okay, sure. We'll see what we do with them. What do we think to that design? Wasn't there a thing? That reminds me of something. Do you remember this is for any British viewers right here? I think Dale mentioned this in one of the Disney reviews that I do. The Early Learning Center store, which is no longer a thing as far as I'm aware. There was this tree, this talking tree, this animatronic tree in the store.
Right. No, I don't remember that.
It's that. I don't know. I've got such a... Yeah, I don't know. That reminds me of something.
I need your axe.
Oh, yeah, he does go back to Moria. You're right. Yeah.
I need your axe, old friend.
So this is to stop Sauron or Eregion or something. He needs the power of the dwarves, maybe? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
He's gone to recruit dwarves?
Yeah. It could be him warning Durin about the ring.
Yeah.
I need your axe, old friend.
And that could just be a throwaway line to just say, all dwarves, axes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Lendil's in this show. Forgot about him.
One of the main players.
Fight.
Oh, there we go. That was the shot.
Oh, and I've got another one for you.
Who's that guy on the right-hand side there? Is that a new dwarf character getting introduced?
Yes, let me see if they've got it on here. But yeah, that is a new character. Yeah, so it says on here that that's the first look at the great dwarf artisan Narvi.
Navi. That's a name they've clipped from something, isn't it? Navi. Wasn't he like one of the pygmy dwarves? Navi. Or it's a name similar to that. Oh no. Let's see. Oh yeah, sorry. He makes the doors of Durin. Okay, that's where I've heard it. Sorry, yeah. Was a dwarf of Khazad-dûm in the mid-Second Age. Narvi was best known for his part in the making of the doors of Durin for the West Gate of Moria, on which Celebrimbor and Elf wrote the inscription. Celebrimbor, in particular, was his close friend.
Well, they need to shoehorn that in pretty quick.
Yeah, so we need to get... Yeah, there we go. Made the doors of Durin. Which one was I thinking of then? In that kind of traitorous dwarf in the Silmarillion.
Oh,
Isn't his son killed?
It's not Nim.
Nim. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. I think that's who I was thinking of.
Because there's another
He's like one
one
of the lesser dwarves, isn't he? He's like a pygmy version of the dwarves.
Yeah, because there's another one in there in the Children of Hurin.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the one I'm thinking of, maybe.
It's like a little shit.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Oh, do you want me to?
Yeah. Guess who that is?
Baby. Oh, he's grabbing the pincers like Sam does in Return of the King. Fuck this show.
That is confirmed that one is Shelob.
Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to face a spider that's that big. Hell, even a spider that's considerably smaller than that, I probably wouldn't want to fuck with. But doesn't that just look laughable? Where you've got Isildur just grabbing like the tiny little baby pincers of Shelob, and then you've got Samwise Gamgee who holds full hulking Shelob at bay as a hobbit.
Yeah, he looks like he could very easily just snap those.
Yeah,
those bangs.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, that bearing in mind, I think Shelob at this point she'd had kids, she'd eaten all of her kids.
Yeah.
So she's pretty big boy at the time. And it looks like they're depicting her as being very young. So yeah, I bet you never thought at the start of the day that you'd think Isildur would have been fighting Shelob.
Fighting Shelob? What the fuck?
Just honestly,
what are we doing?
It's like, have you seen that episode of South Park? I think where they're dissing Family Guy, and they've got a load of idea balls, and it's like it's in a water tank with walruses, and they just pick random stuff and just throw a story together. That's the rings of power. They just pick random stuff. Shelob, Isildur, right? Let's have them fight. Just awful.
It's just I mean, I know he fought a spider in the trailer. I never even entertained the idea that it might be Shelob, but
I mean, for some reason, I thought it was they look like the spiders in the Hobbit in Mirkwood. So I thought he strayed along there, but no, it is Shelob.
Because I can't even remember where we last left him. Was it the grasslands which became Mordor? So I'm like, if he's walking back, then I guess he would have to go through the passes there, and we've got baby Shelob. I don't know. Wasn't Shelob meant to be like thousands of years old? Because the child of Ungoliant, and Ungoliant was like primordial.
Yeah.
So I thought Shelob was like this super ancient spider, but Mim. Sorry, yeah, Mim was the petty dwarf.
That's it.
And Brinsley just says baby Shelob. Yeah, it's like you had baby Yoda, you had baby Groot. Well, get ready for some baby Shelob in this one. Let me just share the screen again. Sorry, real quick. So we're almost at the end now, folks.
With me.
There we go. Speak of the devil. There we go. Shot. Yeah,
it looks like
dead bodies around, a couple of skeletons. So yeah, this is in the cave, isn't it? This is Shelob's cave, I guess.
Yeah.
Shelob's lair.
Fight with our friends.
For Ents. Who are they? Who is that there on the floor? Who they're talking to?
So I reckon that's Arondir, but then that's different. I think that's shot.
That's not Bronwyn.
Because the one before, the person looked like they had short hair, where this one, like that doesn't look.
Yeah, I mean, so it's maybe two different shots combined.
That's
the same one though that we saw talking before, isn't it? Because it was like a lotus blossom Ent. It's the same kind of flowers on it, maybe.
Oh, I've got a theory. Here we go. I've said that a lot tonight. So Arondir and Isildur are meant to be hitting up at some point.
Yeah.
And meeting up. This character's got black hair, got shoulder length hair. I wouldn't be surprised if this is Isildur.
You think this is Isildur here?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, this is the bit you're talking about where she throws a spirit bomb at an orc.
Yeah. So
or a pumpkin bomb.
Yeah, she just throws some Agent Orange up in the air and then shoots it with an arrow. And what can't she do?
She's going for another one. She's going to blow it up. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, wow.
Adriel, so cool.
There are always some who rise.
Oh, that's God damn. That face though.
The thing that I can't take seriously is you have this dark shot of him going wild.
Yeah.
But if you look in the previous trailer, it follows the shot of him where he just bursts out of the cart and just does that spin. How and Isildur's in this shot actually as well. He's
What's
standing
with his like gladi? Oh yeah, he's like cowering behind the wagon, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's going. I think he's lost his head. I reckon because Bronwyn's dead. So I reckon he's going mental.
What's with the Maximus Decimus Meridius gladiatorial armor that he's got on right here?
Well,
did he have that in the last season? It's got that face on it. The kind of bit. I don't know who that's meant to be.
I think that's meant to be. I think the trees. I think he's meant to be very rooted down. I think it's meant to be an Ent.
Right.
I think he had it up until he got captured and enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
Rise forth.
I mean, he does that little, he farts and just like does a Emperor Palpatine 720-degree spin out of the cart in the previous trailer.
Well, Isildur's meant to be there. So in the previous trailer, he's hiding behind that cart.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Isildur, the leader, just cowering away,
just screaming like a girl. Yeah. We've got Batman showing up here.
Oh, that's Disa.
She looks strangely cool about it. So she's just there. She's just kind of. Let me try and pause it.
We've seen that Sauron has turned himself into a vampire before. Would this be his way of getting into Moria?
These bats were bred for one purpose. For war. But bats are meant to be inherently evil creatures in Middle-earth, I think, aren't they? So
yes, they're technically the Fifth Army, aren't they? In the Battle of Five Armies. From memory.
What, in the book, or are you talking about the?
I'm trying to think.
In the book, no. So in the book, it's the dwarves, men, and elves on
Yeah.
one side. That's your three, and then the other side is the orcs and the wargs.
Wargs,
Because they're
right.
they're a bit more of a developed faction in the book. Then the animated Hobbit movie had dwarves, men, elves, goblins, and the eagles showing up as the fifth army.
Right.
And then the Peter Jackson movie had dwarves, men, and elves on one side, and then two factions of orcs as different army. I'm like, come on, that's one.
Oh,
That's one army.
like best we forget about the 5 armies.
Yeah, God Almighty, it's all over the place.
But I'll take the 5 armies over this any
Oh,
day.
definitely. I think this is going to be, and I think people have already started saying this. You know, loads of comparisons to Star Wars tonight, but it took the sequel trilogy to be worse than the prequels for people to go, hang on, maybe the prequels weren't all bad after all. There was some good ideas in the prequels, actually. I kind of like them now looking back at them. I think George Lucas knew what he was doing. We need him back. People weren't saying that before the sequels came out. Now this is coming out. I think people will go back and look at the Hobbit films and go, actually, these are amazing in comparison. And don't get me wrong, there are some really good bits in the Hobbit films. There are. I'll speak as I find there are, but it's just don't come together as a whole. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be there. So that's him probably crafting just a ring and just looking very sad about it. Do you think that's going to be... Oh, no, it's not going to be the one ring, of course, but I don't know which one that will be. It looks like he's been working hard by the look of him, so I'm not sure what that's going to be. Yeah, because I didn't know if Ar-Pharazôn was riding on this eagle in the previous trailer, but... is this going to be a message from the West? Is this going to be a message from Valinor?
Yeah, because he does come over, but they already did that, though, didn't they? With the Numenorians coming over to quash. Because they do come over and capture Sauron, so who knows? It might be an errand that stuff's going down across the waters.
Yeah, because they're the heralds of Manwë, aren't they? And we need to get Ar-Pharazôn and the people of Numenor to the point where they resent the gods for their long life and for them being mortal, essentially, and them wanting the same luxuries from across the water with which they're forbidden to venture to. So we need to start gearing up towards that, which will lead us to the fall of Numenor.
And they've got, I think, they're planned for 5 seasons, so they need to get a move on, even though the timeline's completely messed up. They're compressing everything.
So do you think Fall of Numenor for season 4 and then Last Alliance for season 5? If it gets that far?
Yeah. Well, we're getting the Fall of Eregion in this season. So that's going to be the climactic event.
I was wondering if they were going to make the eagles talk in this, but we just hear it do eagle noises in this, so maybe not.
I think in Shadow of War they have them talking.
War in the North, I know they did.
That's it. I think that's what I'm getting mixed up with.
Yeah.
You
had Radagast in that game as well. He was really good, actually, how they depicted Radagast. Better than the Hobbit movies. Speaking of the Hobbit movies, Brinsley says, I'm sorry, the 3rd Hobbit movie was a mess. Nothing will make me appreciate it anymore unless Peter Jackson remakes it. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, so don't hold your breath.
Although he is doing the hunt for Gollum.
He's producing it, isn't he? He's producing that Andy Serkis direct. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. We'll see. It feels like a weird. You can make anything. You can make any film set in Middle Earth. Such a weird choice to go with the hunt for Gollum. Why is there just like a hard on for making Gollum content between that standalone Gollum video game that came out, which was terrible?
Lord of Ring Gollum.
Yeah, Lord of Ring Gollum.
I think they've gone for that story just purely because you've got so many familiar characters within there. You're going to have Aragorn.
Andy is still around, and he's just probably right at the edge of where he's still capable to play this character.
Yeah, you're going to have Aragorn, Gandalf, Thranduil, potentially then Legolas.
Of course, yeah. They're going to throw him into
Gollum. You've got all these array of characters that are familiar, have already got fan bases. So I think that's why they're going to probably go for that.
You will give me the nine.
I got that troll thing. That did they say another Breaking Bad comparison? Did they say they modeled the look of this troll on Mike's character from Breaking Bad?
Really?
Yeah, I swear I read an article on that. Yeah, from the showrunners that said that.
Have you seen the image of the troll?
Yeah,
I'll pull it up for chat.
it looks huge in this though. Like I didn't realize the scale of it until this shot. This is like bigger than any troll we've seen.
It's out in the daylight as well, which in the Hobbit they just completely turned to stone, but this one's just chilling.
Well, in the Lord of the Rings, you have some trolls like that, don't you? I know in the extended edition of Return of the King, they talk about the dark cloud that Sauron sends overhead, so you could argue that it's kind of murky. But even in the Hobbit films as well, like the catapult trolls, in the same continuity of the Hobbit films, the ones that turn to stone, you have the ones with the catapults, and the Battle of the Five Armies takes place completely in daylight too.
Yeah. I think that's one of the inconsistencies, isn't it, across board?
Yeah.
And they do it a little bit in this show as well with it.
And it's the fact in that as well, you have like the comedy talking trolls from the book in the first movie, and then you get to the third movie and you get to like the aggressive, non-speaking, angry war trolls. And Tolkien does actually have an explanation for that. And obviously the real life explanation is that The Hobbit was originally written as a bedtime story for his children, completely disconnected from the greater legendarium and the secondary world. And then he kind of had to retrofit The Hobbit to fit in with The Lord of the Rings after the fact when he started writing that. And at the beginning, he says that, the darker times now, trolls have become sort of dull-witted and angry and warlike, and they're martial. And you go, oh, okay, there's the explanation then as to why they're not comedy trolls in this one. So there is an in-universe explanation for it. Might not be a great one, but there is one. But you can't do that in your same movie. There's a 60-year gap from the trolls speaking to non-speaking, whereas in the Hobbit films, you can't really do that. I think he wanted his cake and to eat it too, didn't he? He didn't want to make a childlike movie, which is why it's kind of convoluted. There it is. Yeah, I swear there's an article that said they based it on Mike from Breaking Bad.
There is a photo on here. It's very blurred, but I'll get it up. It's there we go. Let me save that. It does actually look like him. That's so bad. If they've actually modeled it on him, that's awful.
They get him to voice him as well.
Yes, let's get the petition. Everyone in the chat, get it going. Right, let me add this on. Image.
While you're bringing that up, Brinsley said there's nothing else they can milk with the Lord of the Rings. They have to go to the Silmarillion, I hope. See, part of me would love an adaptation of that. And when they said they were going to go like anime with some Lord of the Rings films, like War of the Rohirrim coming out, I thought, actually, animated could be a really good way to go with adapting the Silmarillion. It's very incredibly visual, and I think that animation would have so many possibilities. Oh God! Oh, it's like the sunken eye, isn't it? A little bit, and like the brow. Yeah.
Have you heard much about the new War of the Rohirrim?
Not much. Sorry, I was just looking at that. Like the troll's got more hair than Mike. Sorry. The War of the Rohirrim. So they've released some stills from it. I think I messaged you a couple of weeks ago when they posted some. I've got a really bad feeling, and they've announced the art book. You know how the old Lord of the Rings films had, and the Hobbit ones as well, the art of the film, or like a visual companion, I think it was. They've showed the cover of it, and in a lot of the shots and a lot of the promotional material, it's all Helm Hammerhand's daughter.
Yeah,
everywhere. She's always front and center on everything, and that seems to be the thing they're marketing more than Helm Hammerhand. Now, I'm worried because of that. They've gone with a character who is named in the appendices as his daughter, but doesn't really do much. You often get that with a lot of Tolkien, and this character had 5 children, but I'm only going to tell you about one of them. But you get the names for the other ones, maybe. I've got a horrible feeling it's going to be a complete bait and switch movie, in that we're thinking we're getting a Helm Hammerhand movie, and we ain't. It's actually going to be her perspective, and she's going to be the main focus. And we see her doing battle and everything. And part of me thinks, well, it is anime, so you're going to have these like warrior women and things like that. That's not new to anime. But in terms of the context of the world of Middle-earth, that shouldn't be happening, because every single strong female character you get in there, you're diminishing Eowyn's importance for later on. Because if women of Rohan can do battle, what happens come the Lord of the Rings? Why aren't all the women chipping in?
Yeah.
I'm just worried about that. I think the art style looks interesting. It's not immediately what I'd assign to Middle-earth, but I'm just worried that it's going to miss the point entirely of the story. It should be adapting.
Yeah, I agree, to be honest. There was a quote from the producer, James DeMarco, has clarified that the main character calling on a tribe of female warriors to help is incorrect. Misinformation. Okay. When I read that, I thought, no, what are you doing? And then, yeah, it's misinformation.
But there's a shot that kind of sums it up for me, and I think it's Helm Hammerhand sitting on the throne.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a line of people, and he's in the middle, but the one who's in the foreground, the main one in the shot, the one that your eyes are drawn to, is the daughter character. And it's kind of like when you have the very end of An Unexpected Journey, where they're on the Carrack looking at the Lonely Mountain in the distance, and when they're all stood on the rock in the profile shot, you've got Gandalf off to the side, and front and center is Thorin, and Bilbo's kind of like an afterthought at the kind of the side of the shot. It's not where your eyes are drawn to. It's like Thorin is our focus. Thorin is the main front and center protagonist, which is of course not what it should be for the Hobbit. It should be Bilbo. He's the protagonist. He's the one that we follow. So I'm kind of worried for it. Of course, I'll be watching it, and we'll probably have a review on it too come December when it comes out. But yeah,
absolutely,
slightly worried. We'll see what they do with it. I thought also he's got a Helm Hammerhand's got a warhammer, which I don't like, because it's specifically said in the books that he didn't need a weapon. He'd go out and kill people with his bare hands. But then in the movie continuity, when they get to Helm's Deep and you have the big statue in the middle of the courtyard of Helm Hammerhand, he is shown with a warhammer. So that's kind of a fuck up from Peter Jackson. So if it's in continuity with that, fair enough, the movie canon. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. So just the last little bit then. There's the troll. Galadriel being so cool. Oh God, how many arrows was that? Did she fire? Is that two?
And they're on fire. Look at that face.
Oh, I was trying to pause it. Yeah. Look at that steely determination. That's another expression for the ages right there, isn't it? From Morfydd Clark.
Wow.
So expressive. I love it.
She fires not just one arrow, two, and they're on fire. Wow. What can't she do? Like I said, in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films, what's she been doing? What laziness, I call it. Because if she can do all this fighting, what has she been doing?
Yeah. She's been chilling on a swan boat is what she's been doing. Putting her feet up. So Elrond saying death to our foes. I actually can't remember with like the subtitles. Did we get anyone speaking Elvish in the last series?
Ooh.
With subtitles? Maybe at the beginning where we see Galadriel's brother?
I don't even think then, because
he slips into English, doesn't he? With do you know why a ship floats and a rock sinks?
Oh gosh, that brilliant quote. No, I can't remember. Or actually, didn't Elendil does, doesn't he, with Galadriel in Numenor? I swear he says a line to her to like ease the tension.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I just couldn't remember subtitles being on screen for anyone. It just got me thinking with this scene. This is really good.
Oh God, that's
Battle of the Bastards cavalry charge from Game of Thrones. Do you remember how quick was it? The Numenorian cavalry charge? The Numenorian cavalry charge. Just saying that, like they're a shipfaring people. I'm sure they have ground troops, but how quickly they got from Numenor to the action in season 1.
Oh yeah, the fact that they came over from Numenor, the fact that they had all those horses and had to get all of those horses craned
Yeah.
off of the boats,
Yeah.
all in time to just save them in the nick of time. Absolute joke.
You see all the expressions of the orcs here, like a look of fear, like we've got a cavalry charge, and then cut into orcs looking scared. What does that remind you of?
Wow, it's just the charge of the Rohirrim, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just...
Death to our foes. They're going to
And
be
we get another
chanting
callback
death as well.
actually. I think it's like early on in the trailer, you see Elrond looking like in despair. He looks as if it's not that one. He's all bloodied up in the shot.
Let me just scan through, see if I can see it on the preview. It's probably around here, maybe. Oh, no, that's Celebrimbor. Have we seen it in this bit?
No, I think. Let me try to get a time code.
Let's see if I can find it.
Just scrolling through, you get all the amazing memories and things to look forward to in the show. I promise you, I'm not making this shot up.
Let's see. Referring to the Elvish in the previous series, Tara Lenian says a couple of times, including Noralim. Noralim Asvaloth. Oh, speaking of Noralim Asvaloth, you said we're going to get potentially Glorfindel, didn't you, in this one? Oh no.
Yeah. We're already getting a shot of Fëanor's statue in this show.
But again, like Glorfindel, it's another example of just, oh, well, we never used him in the books, so we're going to throw him in. So if we're doing that with characters, then I guess we're going to be getting Erkenbrand then in season 3. Pick him up. Let's throw him in. He wasn't used in the movies, but he's in the book. Let's chuck him in. Let's get Elrond's sons in there. Or is it Elros and Elrohir?
We're getting everyone. Trust me. I'm determined to find this shot. I just don't know where the hell it is.
Shouldn't Galadriel have a daughter at this point, did we say?
Yeah, she's older and she should be married at this point.
Is it Celebrian? Is that her name?
Yeah, Celebrian. She should have been married already.
Yeah, because if she doesn't have a child soon or made aware of it, then that's gonna fuck up things come the Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where this shot's gone. I must have dreamt it up.
Lost the time. Let's finish it off then, because we're near the end now. So cavalry charge, and then rings of power. There we are. Title drop. Woo! Right, crowd goes wild. New season.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Only on Amazon Prime. Well, Amazon Prime isn't the only place one can probably watch The Rings of Power. So
yeah,
I know which one. I know whose side I'm on.
Don't give them any money.
No, exactly. Same with Disney. Fuck all that noise.
Yes.
Unsubscribe from Disney Plus until they start making good content again, which I don't think is going to be anytime soon.
Nope.
Oh, right. That's we're coming up to 3 hours almost, which, I mean, the trailer is 3 minutes and 39 seconds. So we've averaged an hour per minute of the trailer. I think that's really good going.
Wow.
We're slowly turning this into like Maulers every frame a pause, aren't we? But he does like 11-hour streams. So we're not quite in that territory just yet.
Well, I enjoy it, man. I love
too.
coming on and speaking. It's amazing.
Tar says Celebrian and Elrond marry at the beginning of the Third Age. Well, if she hasn't had that kid yet, she better be popping it out soon, because this is going to get really weird. You remember in I never watched the movie, but I know that this exists in it. In the Twilight movies, you have, is it the werewolf guy? Is it Jacob, who imprints himself onto Bella's infant child, and it's like, she will be my wife one day. I am bonded to her. And it's really creepy and weird. I think we might have that going on with Elrond and Celebrian, maybe. Hopefully not. They meet just after the War of Elves and Sauron. Okay. But she needs to be like, you know, elves live for a very long time. She should be alive and kicking at this point, I feel.
The thing is, can you ever see the show depicting Galadriel as a stay-at-home wife?
Not at all. And that's why we didn't get Celeborn. We will get him in this, and he'll be a completely broken and disheveled man. He'll lack any agency, and she'll basically have to babysit him into being functioning again.
Yeah, because realistically, the show doesn't need to connect with events of the Third Age, so they can do what they want, really.
As I say, it's like the strength in femininity. Like, it's just their way around it is thinking that we need to give female characters masculine qualities in order to make them strong. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that, because there is strength in femininity. You just have to write it well. Of course, there's strength in femininity. Like, what are they thinking? Arwen, super strong in the original trilogy. Galadriel, amazing. She hadn't got to be like wielding a fucking broadsword in battle. They were going to do that with Arwen, because you know, they filmed her at Helm's Deep, which I guess would have been in keeping with her character as it's established in Fellowship of the Ring. I appreciate that change more from, I can understand maybe why you don't want to put Glorfindel in, because he's going to show up for one scene, and it makes sense to change it to a character who's actually going to have some presence and agency throughout the rest of the story. But it does make Arwen like super warrior-like in the first movie, and then she kind of becomes the character that she is in the book, where she doesn't do battle. So it is a little bit weird. And I guess if she had a fought in Helm's Deep, it would have been more in line with what we'd have been established for in Fellowship of the Ring. But I'm so glad they removed that.
100%.
You do see her in the background, though, in one shot, or a couple of shots, I think. You can still see her there. Just pretend that she isn't. Tolkien had Celebrian born at about Second Age 300, 1,200 years before the rings were made. Yeah. So she should very much be around then, definitely. I don't know. Maybe she got kidnapped as well, along with Celeborn. We'll find out in season 2. Can't wait. So I think I did take a snapshot. They've released a schedule of when all the episodes will be going live each week. So pretty much from the end of August throughout September, probably into October, we'll be live each week discussing it. Do you think we're going to get another trailer now at this point before it's all said and done, or do you think this is it?
I think that was their banker. It's so long. I don't think they'll release another one.
They really dragged their heels, didn't they, with releasing some trailers for this thing? It seemed like this show's coming out soon, guys. Like, are you going to get any trailers out for it?
Yeah, and nearly 4 minutes worth of a trailer. That's not no enough, to be fair. It's quite long.
Yeah, it does feel like they're going for broke, doesn't it? Just throwing, as you mentioned at the beginning, throwing everything into the trailer in the vain hope that it's going to land with someone and get a few viewing figures. So I can't wait to see what the premiere figures are going to be for this series, because is anyone really talking about... I was going to say, is anyone really talking about this series? I guess that's exactly what we're doing right now. But the water cooler effect of this show, I've heard more people talking about House of the Dragon and getting excited for that, and what's going to happen, and I haven't heard anything at all.
Yeah, I agree. Who's rewatching this?
Yeah. Part of me thinks I should, just so I'm all caught up, but I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. I'm just not willing to do that, I don't think. I think so coming up to 3 hours, I think we'll gear up to round everything off now. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's joined us, and some of them have been there throughout the entire 3 hours, so thank you for taking your time out of your Saturday evening to watch us talk about everything. related to the Rings of Power, really, of what we've seen so far. So I think there's going to be a lot that we haven't seen still. I don't think we've seen the half of it, but I think from your predictions, definitely, I think you're going to be bang on the money with a lot of the stuff that you've said tonight, and you've got me thinking differently about the stuff in the trailer. We know that Shelob's in there now, probably too. Loads of information, and we'll be bringing you reviews each week when it goes live at the back end of August. So we'll have information about when we're going live, days, times, and everything like that close to the time. But yeah, if you want to just tell people where they can find your channel, what you've got coming up, and what you may have posted in the last day or two.
Yeah, so you can find me at Everything in Middle Earth on YouTube and Instagram. On Instagram, I mainly post memes, but on YouTube recently I've been reacting to a couple of the rumors to do with the Rings of Power. So my next video is going to be tackling Shelob in the Rings of Power, because
Nice.
That's a joke, to be honest. So I'm going to be creating that. So that's going to be my next project.
I'm going to be checking out your videos too that you posted. You've posted a couple, haven't you? I've just got the top 5 what the fuck moments of the new Rings of Power trailer, and then your actual trailer breakdown too. So I'm going to be watching those, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what other stuff you post in the lead up to this as well. So please head on over there if you haven't done so already. Give him a subscribe. There's a lot of good stuff on there, and I'm sure much good stuff to come as well, including, fingers crossed, hopefully a Waldreg video at some point in the future. I'm going to keep the dream alive on that. I haven't forgotten. I'll never let you forget about that video. I want to see that someday.
Yes.
In the meantime as well, if you haven't done so already, let us know your thoughts on the Rings of Power. If you're just discovering this stream now and you've made it to the end, let us know what you think. Any hopes, dreams, fears, speculation, and where do you think this is heading? And another question I have for you all, do you think it's going to make it to season 5? I'm not convinced. I think we're definitely going to get a season 3. And if it's not doing well, I think they're going to cut their losses and end it after season 3. That's my prediction. In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't done so already. There's going to be more movie reviews, discussions, and live streams. Let's see what's coming up on the channel. So I've got Star Wars content every Wednesday with JX Editor. We're about to take on the Old Republic games. He's taken the footage of them and he's edited them into sort of like a full movie, because I've never played the games and I haven't got time to sink about 2 hours into an RPG game. So he's taken all the important elements and combined it. So we're going to be live on Wednesday for that. Before then, every Monday, me and Dale are doing our reviews on our Disney retrospective, 100 Years of Wonder, going through all of the Disney animated classics. And this upcoming Monday, we'll be talking about 1999's Tarzan, which I'm looking forward to talking about that. In between then, in September, what have we got? We've got the 20th anniversary of Lost, so I need to try and maybe watch 106 episodes of Lost before then. Fingers crossed I can do that. And then also, local Odeons are putting all of the Star Wars movies back in the cinema over August and September. So me and Dale will be diving down memory lane with that and reliving some nostalgia. We'll be seeing Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and then we'll be watching the original trilogy. And that's probably it, because I am absolutely not going to watch Force Awakens, Last Jedi, or Rise of Skywalker. So 6 Star Wars reviews, no more, no less, just like the saga itself. So a lot of stuff coming to the channel. So please do stick around, because there's going to be some fun stuff, including much more content from us together, I hope, because it's always a pleasure collaborating with my friend, talking about Middle-earth and everything in between. It helps it definitely helps the Rings of Power be a lot more palatable to just talk about it and laugh about it and despair about it with yourself. So thank you very much for jumping on with me tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it, and we've got more Rings of Power to come.
We absolutely have. Always a pleasure having you on, man. Looking forward to collaborating with you more in the future. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight too. We'll bow out then. Have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next video sometime very soon. Take care, everyone.